2024. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. This is News to 6 a.m. on News Power Digital. The new school term starts today, and government assures work took place during the July-August holiday period to get repairs to schools completed in time. Education Minister Dr. Nian Gatsby-Darley told reporters recently works were also being done on weekends and afternoons by contractors. This revealed the Ministry of Education received hundreds of complaints in recent times over schools, and they're currently dealing with more than 60 schools presently. The Tobago Education Research and Technology Division reveals all schools are ready for the new school term. It explains $20 million was spent on school repair. THA Education Secretary Jorisha Hackett says the first phase of the repair program addressed immediate concerns, while phase 2 will handle less critical repairs during the term. However, THA Minority Leader Kelvin Morris is reportedly concerned that no work has to continue throughout the term, claiming this is unacceptable. Morris criticized Secretary Hackett for the ongoing demobilization at schools just hours before the new term began. He said the THA failed to prioritize school repairs during the July-August vacation, resulting in contractors still working on some school sites. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley traveled to the U.S. yesterday, where he will undergo medical tests. Minister of Energy and Energy Industries and Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, Stuart Young Senior Counsel, is acting as Prime Minister in Dr. Rowley's absence. 7 men were arrested after a shootout with police during a routine house search exercise. According to a police report, Northern Division Task Force officers went to a house located along Calypso Road, Manzanilla, to execute a search warrant for firearms and ammunition. On seeing the approaching vehicles, several persons began running in a southerly direction toward the back of the house. Officers gave chase, and one of the men allegedly pulled out and pointed a firearm in their direction. Both officers believed their lives were in danger, and keeping with the use of force policy, discharged their firearms in the direction of the men. The chase continued, and officers subsequently subdued 2 men. A search was conducted of a 27-year-old Spanish national, and 1 magazine containing 7 rounds of 9mm ammunition was allegedly found in his trousers pockets. A second Spanish national, 36, was found holding a bandana. The officer gave him directions to drop same. He did, and on examining the bandana, 1 hand grenade was found. Both men were observed to be suffering from apparent gunshot wounds to their legs and were taken to hospital, where they were listed in stable condition. A comprehensive house search was conducted, and 1 Taurus 9mm pistol, 2 black-colored magazines, and 6 rounds of ammunition were discovered. 5 other persons, all in their 30s, were arrested concerning the find. A family's hope of finding their loved one safe was dashed when kidnapped victim Andrew Persadi's body was found near a pond in St. Madeleine. Persadi is believed to have been strangled to death with tie straps when he was abducted from his San Fernando home by 2 masked men on Independence Day. A motive for his murder remains unclear. Police are now treating the death as a kidnapping and homicide. Persadi, 42, of Carmelius Crescent Union Hall, worked as a driver with DH Movers. Investigators said he was leaving his home around 5:30 a.m. to go to work when 2 men wearing masks accosted him. They reportedly placed tie straps in his hands and forced him to walk in a westerly direction. His family quickly alerted police, as well as the Hunters Search and Rescue Team, led by Captain Valance Rambarath. Immediately, the search party, including Rambarath's son, was mobilized and began combing the area. At around 12:15 p.m., officers of the St. Madeleine Police Station, including Sergeant Martin and PCC Prasad, received reports a body had been found near a pond. Police are continuing investigations. In Jamaica, Opposition People's National Party spokesman and Education and Community Development Senator Damien Crawford said government had adopted a false sense of security where teachers' migration is concerned, and its own probe revealed the number of year this year will mimic last year and surpass 1,400. He made the remark while speaking at a virtual news conference put on by the party at All Hope headquarters in St. Andrew. Crawford. Ghana's gross domestic product is estimated to have grown by 49.7% in the first half of 2024, including oil and gas revenues. The non-oil economy also saw growth with an estimated increase of 12.6%, up from 11.7% last year. This according to President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali, who was speaking during an opening ceremony for Citizens Bank New Mandela branch on Friday. And finally, Donald Trump signals he will vote in favor of legalizing marijuana for personal use in his home state of Florida ahead of a ballot on the issue in November. The Republican presidential nominee wrote on his Truth Social platform, voters are highly likely to approve the measure, whether people like it or not, and therefore it should be done correctly. And that is news to 6 a.m. right here on News Power Digital. We'll have major news coming your way at 7 a.m. Good morning.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
The first responsibility that devolves upon you is the protection and promotion of your democracy. Democracy means more, much more, than the right to vote, and one vote for every man and every woman of the prescribed age. Democracy means recognition of the rights of others. Democracy means the equality of all in the eyes of the law. Democracy means equality of opportunity for all in education, in the public service, and in private employment. I repeat, and in private employment. Democracy means responsibility of the government to its citizens, the protection of the citizens from the exercise of arbitrary power and the violation of human freedom and individual rights. Democracy means freedom of worship for all and the subordination of the rights of any one race to the overriding right of the human race. Democracy means freedom of expression and assembly and organization. All that is democracy. All that is our democracy, to which I call upon all citizens to dedicate themselves on this our Independence Day. This is what I meant when I gave the nation as its slogan for all time, discipline, production, tolerance. Our national flag belongs to all of us. Our national coat of arms with our national birds inscribed therein is the sacred trust of all our citizens. So it is today. Please, I urge you, let it always be so. Let us always be able to say with the psalmist, behold how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity.
Good morning, Steve. Good morning, everyone.
That came out of nowhere, but good morning. Good morning, neighbors. Thank you so much for joining us on the Power Breakfast Show on Power 102 Digital. All right, rainy morning, 8 minutes after the hour, 6 o'clock, 25 degrees at Piarco, 24 at Crown Point, and it seems we are under adverse weather till 9 o'clock this morning, if you did not realize. Yeah. And of course, today is going to be partly cloudy with occasional showers, 60 to 70%, medium to high chance of few heavy showers or thunderstorm activity. There you go. Yellow level is in effect. Yeah. So good morning, Paul. I see the traffic has started already. First day of school. Well, for most of you, traffic is from Freeport towards the interchange. Trinity City, not too bad, but from Valsayn to Barataria is a bit heavy. That's it for sure. This time, of course, in 5 minutes it'll be different. Yeah. Yes. Good morning, Paul. How was your Independence weekend? Morning, Wendell.
Quite good. Good morning, Wendell. Good morning, everyone. It was quite good. It was interesting. I was in Port Elizabeth for the first time in a long while, Independence Night, and didn't realize so many people in and around the Queen's Park Savannah. Wow, it was like very, very heartwarming. Let me put it that way.
Mm-hmm. A lot of
people, families with their children. The Savannah was packed with cars, and I mean all around the Savannah. Every nook and cranny around the Savannah and in the Savannah was packed with cars on Independence Night and Independence morning. So a huge turnout of people also. So, really happy to see that.
Yeah. Morning, gentlemen. Morning, Paul. Morning, Richard. Morning, Steve. Morning, Trinidad and Tobago and listeners and viewers. Yes, it was a very nice Independence Day, and it culminated with Pan on the Avenue, of course, which was a huge success. Once again, thousands of people turned out. It was a really nice Independence Day. 62 years on strong. Well,
The fireworks were astounding.
well, I would have heard it from the Avenue. I didn't see anything from where I was.
Like 20 straight minutes of fireworks, some of which I taped.
Which terrorized the animals at the zoo.
Yep, and the elderly people.
And the elderly.
And
But
the
you know what?
babies.
Every year we talk about it. It goes in one ear and it comes out the other.
Which is why you just said, "Oh, I don't know why."
Let me tell you what's strange about that. Australia, for the last 15 years, 15, 20 years, they do fireworks, but they do noiseless fireworks.
But not just recently in Grenada. Did they use drones alone to do the fireworks display?
Yeah. But they are noiseless fireworks.
Yeah. This discussion is tiring.
Yeah, and of course, this happened around in front of the Oval, where the fire trucks, which were delightful for many of the children, opened the hoses and sprayed down to be sprayed down.
They enjoyed
and
that.
the light atmosphere. So,
the predictions of bad weather that day failed.
Yeah.
I remember there was an adverse weather alert just the day before, stretching into Independence Day. But
that's
it was
true.
a
But
beautiful
fortunately,
day.
it was a beautiful day. It wasn't too hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Met Office, in my view, always get it wrong. It's like they come out, they put their hand out, they look at the sky. Oh, rain coming. Let's put an adverse weather. They get a lot in the weather group. I mean, they get a lot of lashing.
But we discussed it here not too long ago. I think Paul raised it. They need to say exactly where the bad weather is going to be. That's how they do it in the United States. And that's what. So there was bad weather, I'm sure somewhere, but they
But the
don't.
weather forecast
they make a
is
blanket
so-
statement all the time. That's the problem.
It's so vague. It is so vague. Anyway,
Maybe they don't have the equipment.
they have qualified people. I don't. They just
Well,
the
qualified
radar.
people without the equipment like Doppler 4000, whatever it is, maybe the issue that they can't be as precise as people would like them to be.
Yeah.
But they just had some people come in to repair it.
But repairing archaic equipment is not going to give you the level of precision you want.
It's a Doppler radar system.
But maybe it's an old Doppler radar system.
I don't know the age.
I don't know.
And they need to get their act together because because the Met Office supplies weather to aircraft to Piarco International Airport as well as the citizenry of Trinidad and Tobago.
You all know Doppler in existence 20 years now, right? It could be a 15-year-old Doppler system. I don't know. You all know the latest Doppler? That could tell you Samuel versus Arima having rain?
Yeah.
Come on, we don't know.
Yeah.
And then radars go down and come up in Trinidad plenty, ask the authorities about radar for the coast and see how much them operational. All right? Just saying. And this
But
is
I
something
enjoyed someone did a collage. Someone did a collection of pictures, over 300 pictures. I actually looked at all on Facebook, and they captured a lot of scenery, a lot of Independence Day, and it was just so beautifully done.
Yeah, that's why I managed to get all these videos because there were so many beautiful videos posted of people lining the streets with, particularly, it's great to see them up with their children.
Yeah, families,
dressed in red, white, and black. So,
and they took a lot of pictures of the parade, the dogs, you name it. They took pictures, and whoever did that did an excellent job of providing all those pictures. Excellent job. Yeah, look into my eyes. That's exactly what it was. Thanks, Daniel Knights. That was the name of the page. Look into my eyes. It was beautifully done.
Look at this child waving his flag. It's such a joyous vision,
Yeah.
This was a very, very, very well executed independence celebration all the way around.
Yes.
So
yes.
And this is in this party in the paint. They actually stopped and sang the anthem at 6 a.m.
Yeah, that sounded good.
Yeah, so
that sounded really good.
So I mean, and
this is in the paint dance. I've never been to this. Yeah. I've never been to this event.
Yep. So
and I won't be going.
We have entered our 63rd year. as an independent nation. A lot to be proud of and a lot of work to do.
Plenty.
A lot of work to do.
So
Good morning to the acting Prime Minister, Stuart Young, SC. Good morning.
I like to tease Stuart. Well,
Right.
let me
What?
call him acting prime minister. I like to tease him. So I sent him the release yesterday with a picture. He started laugh. He said, "Boy, I'm in church," because like he want to laugh out loud in church. I said, "Anyway, we probably try to interview you, but this time Minister Imbert is here in the country,
as far as I know.
as
Yeah.
far as we're aware. So
But
Yeah.
is this succession planning at work here?
it might be. I don't know. But I tease. I like to tease, as I say. So, but he takes it well. And he all-
This is usually
You can take a
quite
joke.
easygoing. One of the interesting things I saw regionally this is now. Recently, there was a big uproar in Guyana over a young lady, light-skinned lady, who went to Guyana. I think she's European or American, and made a controversial statement that she was the most beautiful person in the country, woman in the country. And the backlash was astounding
As expected.
because Guyana is a place like Trinidad and Tobago, people of color primarily. And I saw a video yesterday of them, her on a flight, and somebody saying they found a way to deport her because she was bringing too much distress to the country.
They deported her.
She clearly, what she was just a spoof. She wasn't serious, right?
No, she was serious.
Okay.
She was serious. It drew huge condemnation from the Guyanese population. Huge. Because it had a tinge of racism in it.
Oh,
I didn't see it.
Understand?
but
Yeah, you're the most beautiful, and you're not from there, but you're the most beautiful. I'm here now, and I'm the most beautiful person in the country.
Talk about full of
that
themselves.
sounds like provocation.
No, some of these social media people are not the brightest on the planet, you know.
Let me tell you something.
Insensitive at worst.
Everything being placed now on social media, taking on a political and divisive thing, Every single thing,
Well, I don't know
Yeah,
about
yeah,
everything.
pulpit.
Oh God, no, it's everything, man. It's sickening.
I don't know about everything. You post stuff on social media. I do. I don't know that it's racist and divisive.
No, nobody
You see,
dare come with that stupidness on my
But you're
head.
saying everything. Everything means everything.
I'm
It don't mean some.
I'm saying, okay, so let me qualify that. Most of the news stories that are coming out from either E News, CCN, CNC3, all of them, all bar none, takes on a political and divisive tinge. All.
Since when news media weren't like that around the world?
No, but it's gotten worse, Paul.
But if you think news is benign or any media house is benign or absolutely unbiased, you're very delusional.
I'm not talking about the article, I'm talking about the comments.
Yeah.
The article is there.
Speaking of news media, we should congratulate Sigoni Mohammed.
Yeah, where's she going?
Huh?
What's happening? What's going on?
She's the new anchor of TTT News.
Is that so?
Okay.
And I think I could stand corrected, deputy head of news. So
Well, that's all right.
they've totally remodeling the news. I don't know if it's starting tonight, but
Oh, that is why you sent me that picture. I couldn't figure it
Yeah.
out,
that was the old team. And
Okay.
the old team has primarily been disbanded, and the female anchor, the male anchor, and the weather person have been, I think, let go. I think the male anchor is now a journalist in the newsroom, and Sigoni is now, according to my sources, which are usually accurate, the main anchor or the primary anchor, and she'll do news and weather for TTT News.
All right. Well, good for Sigoni. I'm happy for her. I just couldn't figure out that picture you sent to me. I said, Paul, like
That
your
was the
butt
old
messaging,
team.
like your butt messaging me again. I said, look, let me not ask him what that is about.
Let me choke this morning. I do not butt message you. I do not butt anything you. Yeah? Trust me. You do not qualify. Anyway, good morning and happy independence, Trinidad and Tobago. Some people didn't have a happy independence at all.
Yeah, why?
Well, let's start with the new school term starts
Thank
today.
you, Ricky.
And I think most schools are ready. Tobago says all their schools are ready, according to the THA Education Secretary, Assemblywoman Zarisha Hackett. Dr. Nian Gaspidoli told reporters that most schools were ready.
Yeah,
I
St.
saw there was
George's College
some
is just
controversy
Form 1
over
and
St.
4.
George's College. I saw a clip of member of
Form 1 and 2.
Barataya Sanwan, Saddam Hussein, and the minister in a clip where he seemed to be upset that he was invited to a school opening or reopening where he thought the school would have been completely fixed, and the minister was trying to explain to him it was a particular scope of works, but he still felt the school should be. I don't know if the school is opening this morning.
Well, St. George's College is not too far from me. And of course, there were a barrage of people yesterday at St. George's College. That school really, let's start with the fence covered in bush. That has all been cleared up now. And somebody else and myself, we were talking and saying, why the wait last minute?
But it's not normal. Isn't
It
it?
should
The
not
repair,
be.
school repairs, I mean, we're going to talk about this for the next 400 years. About the delay in school repairs and so on. Contractors and things, they're not easy to deal with, and a lot of them not paid on time and whatnot.
In a practical sense, most of our school infrastructure stock is very old.
Yes.
It is.
And if you think you can repair, it's over 100 secondary and primary schools.
Yeah.
200 or something and something, in 2 months, you are crazy.
Yeah, it can't be done.
They have to prioritize the issues. So,
Right.
come on. I mean, people who are, and yes, I am certainly advocating that most of the repair works be done successfully, but it's an ongoing thing where most of the repair works are done during August, July, and August, but they can't do all.
Yeah. And
To
if
be
not
fair,
for,
to be practical.
if not for CPEP and so on in these areas, a lot of these schools will be awful, There's a lot of CPEP contractors and workers who go into these schools and keep their grounds and so on surroundings looking good,
So every year we go through this cripping and complaining about, oh my God, they should get all finished and all should. Practically, you can't do all.
No, it can't be that.
And the school stock, the buildings are old buildings primarily and will need consistent repair, in some cases, significant repair.
Especially when it's hell to get money released to do the repairs. Oh,
man, they'll move to the front of the class. And people think, what, it's just send the contractor and tell them,
do the work.
Do the work.
It's hell.
In some cases, you said contractors still waiting for pay for work done last year.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So, the conversation is so banal. Of course, as you said, you're right. That gets very political no matter who is in power.
Oh, God, no.
It doesn't matter.
So, yes, Michael Grandison, I found, maybe because I went into politics for the first time in many years, that this year's independence was extremely magnified.
Well, the opposition came out as I predicted. Members of the opposition, I told you all they're going to happen the year before the elections and the year of the election.
You did.
I bet you all
actually did.
They all going to come out?
But they didn't all come out. But
they didn't all come out. But next year, for sure, everybody coming out. Because next year will be just...
That's presuming the election is not before. That's presuming the election is before before August 31st. You know that?
I'm telling you.
You know that.
I'm telling you. You ain't calling
You know that.
Next year,
you had a conversation with the Prime Minister?
Next year, Independence Day will be political campaigning at its best. Watch and see.
I understand Mrs. Pasabi says I wasn't there, but I think Khadija Amin was there. Dr. Rishi Sitran was there, and a couple of other names were called.
Yes. Yeah, wait and see.
You said that consistently. They have to give you that.
Yeah, they are.
You're getting more and more right these days in your old age.
I know the politics. I get to know the politics in my ripe old age. You're very right. I get to learn the politics so much.
I ain't about it right. Not the man. Go follow that tree already.
But
interesting. When I saw this story, I said, okay. 7 men were arrested after a shootout with police.
Arrested?
And
they get in a shootout?
Well,
that's a fake
the
story.
story was strange because they said it was a shootout, but the story says the officers went to a house in Manzanilla, Calypso Road, to execute a search warrant for firearms and ammunition. The officers observed a group of men in front of the house. When the men saw the police coming in the car, they run out. They said the officers gave chase and one of the men pointed a firearm in their direction. The officers believed their lives were in danger and in keeping with the use of force policy, discharged their firearms. They never said the men actually shoot.
No,
I don't know how that does that constitute a shootout once you point the gun and shootout? I don't know. Maybe it is.
You're threatening the officer's lives.
Right, but maybe that's why I'm asking the question. Maybe that constitutes a shootout.
And they arrested them? Nobody there?
Well, they arrested 2 Spanish nationals and 5 other men, seemingly of Trinidadian nationality, were taken to 7 in all. And the 2 of them were suffering from gunshot wounds to their legs, and they were both taken to the hospital in their legs.
Which police is that to do that shooting? Get them awards this in the for Republic Day.
Well, I saw a graph posted by, I think it's the Express newspaper, which identified the number of police shootings per year. I think it amounts to about 40 per year.
Yes. I sent that article and I suggested that we try to get David West this week. Yeah. Because it's an inordinately high amount.
But I don't know what that's being compared to. Mm-hmm. I can't say it's inordinately high unless I see a comparison with other Caribbean territories.
But I think David West thinks it's high based on that story.
Well, he may. Mm-hmm. It's his job to think it's high. Mm-hmm. Not so?
Yeah, I guess so.
He might think 10 high, because that's his job as the director of the Police Complaints Authority. So, but
so a little bit again, we get in body cam footage from this incident too. Then, if men live, we might actually have body cam footage. Men get shot in the legs and live. What the hell is this? TTPS, take about this one. That must be someone that must be a bunch of police who decide them ain't fitting for independence. Because all of them is fit.
You just said all of them. You all keep making these absolute statements.
All
of them and every. You know what all and every means?
I am a provocateur when I'm ready. Even ones who don't drink. And I know some of them.
Anyway, good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. When Steve returns with the only 4 lines, I hope you're crafting a question this morning.
Oh, well, we could do something around the Independence Day because it really was, I have to admit,
it was a grand independence celebration. I would say it was well put together. I like the motifs at the mouth of the savannah with the pan and the hummingbirds all through, A question maybe, do you have hope for the future? Are you hopeful for the future of Trinidad and Tobago? Yeah. Yes or no? Could be a question. As we embark on our 63rd year of independence. Yeah.
I'll tell you something that I also observe, and I've been observing it because there have been a lot of PAN events in the month of August, right? Culminating with PAN on the Avenue on the Independence Day. And I messaged Khadija, because you know me, I'm not one to click. I said, why aren't the opposition members showing themselves in these PAN events? PAN is part of Trinidad and Tobago. It have all manner of people in those PAN events. I've never seen a member of the opposition at any of these PAN events. Maybe I missed them. Maybe they're in the middle of the crowd. Maybe in pan and powder they were all covered with powder and I wasn't recognizing them. But I've never seen, even all right, let's put it this way. The opposition have no seats in the West corridor, right? None in the Diego Martin seats, none in the Port of Spain area, none in the Laventil area. But surely they would have had people who shadow those seats or intend to contest those seats.
Well, they offer candidates.
Yeah, but you do even see not war. And I think Khadija likes PAN. Khadija used to lie with our family way back in the day, Independence Day and so on. None of them come out. None.
My spies are telling me that budget will be September 30th. What day is that?
28 days from now, I guess.
It's a Monday. Yes. Well,
It always is.
that's possible. It's always a Monday. So that's possible. Going to be a budget. Do you have a budget? I mean, the government has already signaled that based on their projections, well, we had a bigger deficit this past fiscal than expected. We went to $9 or $8 billion. Shall we open the phone lines to have a conversation with our wonderful audience?
We shall.
Yeah.
And Daniel Knights, whoever the texter is, Daniel Knights. This is not Richard. This is Wendell, okay? You keep putting Richard. You're referring to me as Richard in your messages.
You could have let that
Is
slide.
there anything wrong with that? We have a call. Good morning.
No, I don't want to be Richard.
You don't
Richard
look
is a
alike.
multi-millionaire playwright and
Good morning,
actor. And
Dr. Paul, and good morning, Wendell, Stephen.
morning.
Morning.
Beautiful pictures from Independence. Well, that's all I could see. I've never been to an Independence parade. Imagine that. And
Never? No, man.
Never. I don't know why I've never gone. I don't know. I always want to, and I've never been. I shall take my children. They get
Not even as a child, your parents didn't take you?
never. My mother used to go, but I used to get up too late. Because she said,
Man.
I've never been to it. But one of these good days, I shall go.
I'll
I
take
don't
you
know,
next year.
when I look at it on TV, I'll never miss it. When everybody gone and it starts at 8, I think, believe it, 8 o'clock on TTT, I will go and look at it until now. And
This
that's
year, it
all
looks
I will-
extra joyous to me, which is good.
Yeah. One of these good days I will attend. My husband used to be a contractor many years ago, and when I used to work, when my children were going to school, I started work with him. But I was in charge of school repairs every July, August, and in many schools that we have done, I, as the person in charge, never gave up a school late at all, because we work every day, all night until 3 o'clock in the morning. And the schools were so old, mostly primary schools, those schools are so old. By the time you do one thing, you see something else, you have to fix that, because, like one thing leading to another. Some schools are still using Celotex ceiling.
Yes. Celotex, you're right.
So, and I was like, what? You know what I mean? So, and the plumbing has been a bad state. And I think some of the children can't manage using toilets, because simple things like toilet handles and the cover and all these things are damaged so often. Like, you do these things so many times. But anyway, I have never given up a school day, because they used to come and visit, and like Independence Day, they always come and, they put back all the furniture and so on. 2 occasions, 2 principals from 2 different schools called me to tell me to come in school on the Monday morning. So I said, well, I wonder if I had to fix something or check something. Do you know, when I went, they had a assembly, and they brought me up in the assembly and told this whole student body there and teachers that I'm the person responsible for them being in school today, because I finished school on time. They were not in school for a few weeks before the end of the term, so that means they didn't go to school during the closing off for school term in July. And they were so happy that I was there. They said to me like this, I was afraid to take it. I was wondering, I wanted to take this thing.
So you all would have absorbed the expenditure and then hope and then get make the claims after. Right.
If one wait, well, I tell you honestly, if you have to wait, schools will never finish. So we never forget it. If you can't get any money, we have to do the work,
Right,
and like the school, they did the same thing. But now that school has been built over.
They have no contractors like you again,
No, they don't. I am telling you, and they used to tell me that. They said, I wish you could do all the schools, but of course I can't, But we used to have quite a number of schools in different areas, and I will mobilize the workers. I will do that. I sound like I was just right.
Yeah, today was your ID.
Yeah, and you know, my workers at that time were happy to work with me because we didn't get no money from the government, but we paid them on time. So they had no problem working. Some of them had to leave one place and go to another depending on what they do. And I'm Mr. because I don't do that again. I mean, my husband no longer here, and I don't get involved in that type of work again. So, but when I see every year that the same problem occurring, I say, I wonder if I can get back into this thing, right? you know? But anyway, it was nice finishing school for children to go to school because I believe in education. I, as a former teacher as myself, I don't want the children to be staying home. So I try my best to get them in school. So you all have a wonderful.
But make sure I go Independence Day parade next year.
Yeah, I think I will go next year. Yeah, I think I will go.
God willing. God willing.
Okay then.
Take care.
All right. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Happy related independence. Paul, you're right. The turnout in Port of Spain was really nice. I spoke to a coconut. I went and buy a coconut by one of the guys around the Savannah there who his belief was that it was more in previous years. It was a poor turnout, but I have to take his word for it. He does be there every day, 365 days a year. One thing that disappointed me, I passed by the Cunupia police station on Independence morning, and it's not just Independence morning, but the national flag or the police flag hadn't been flying there for maybe the last 2 weeks. I thought they would have put something in place and gotten it up by Independence morning. Only to be disappointed that that station, as well as the Piarco police station, Independence Day, was not flying a flag. I called the Cunupia police station to find out what's going on. What is the reason that they did not flying a flag on Independence morning, and was informed that they have put in a request. The flag was destroyed. You know, the Sanders Gate pink. So they said it was destroyed. They had put in a request many weeks ago, and they haven't gotten a new one up to now. So I can't blame the police officers. The logistics just didn't provide one for them before Independence, which I feel somewhere fail. I mean, everywhere should have gotten a flag before Independence Day.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? But I'm only criticism of the Cunupia and
I can get some this weekend, boy. Only one criticism.
Well, Richards, have a good day.
All right.
What
Thank
is
you.
Chicago Basing?
The man
Sorry to have you waiting.
Yes? Eh?
Good morning, guys. Good
I
morning.
get that message. Yes. So good morning. Hope all is well.
Morning, Wendell.
Morning, caller.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Hey,
Mi amor.
you come back? Me, you know me, me amor this morning. You disappeared for 2 weeks and you bought me amor.
I did it like Wendell.
A European man must be
I
real
hope you
sweet.
enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I hear a white man from Holland.
Oh, Lord. So how are you folks? I listened to you some in between, but not all the time I was able to. So, and
I miss you.
I came in. Well, I would imagine, if you didn't miss me, I'd be very surprised. Yeah, so I'm back. Good morning.
Where you bring from me? You know that Trini? Where you bring from is the first thing we ask, you know.
But I surprised Steve and beat you to that.
You don't have to ask me that. You know you will get that. Side door is open, you know.
I accustomed to that. That is.
But that's the first time I hear that one.
That's like Pilau.
I didn't even know side doors existed.
Yeah, side door.
Oh God.
Remember, she has some ages, so she had to turn on the side. Every side door come in.
I never knew a side door existed.
And all of Missy Baka, darling.
Well, I learned something today.
And then you had to get about 6 people to prop she up, you know.
Let me just send my greetings. Good morning, CJ, Rena, Mrs. R, This Diego Martin, everybody. Good morning. Morning to all those
I'm watching you, you know. Dr. Rolly going out and you come back. I'm watching all you know. All right.
Oh, God. Anyhow, I'm locked on and listening.
Good to have you back, Zena.
Right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right.
Dr. Bassing, what do you do for independence?
Nothing. I was just home.
You didn't come down the avenue, boy? I thought you were coming.
I was planning to, but eventually I didn't do anything. That was Saturday, so I didn't.
Yes.
I was planning to come pan on the avenue because I know pan was on the avenue.
Right. It was
Yeah.
excellent.
Yeah, but I didn't bother to come. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I did think of coming at point, but eventually just like the traffic and all of that, you know.
Yeah.
They're searching for a park.
Let
Which
me
is,
tell you, it was so well attended. When I left, because I went to Luce with some friends and to see these fireworks in the balcony. There was traffic from Hilton to Mova Junction heading home at 9 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
That's how much, and traffic all through Port of Spain. It was very, very well attended this year. For some reason, people just came out a lot this year, which is
I
great.
can't handle the traffic.
Yeah, me too. I get where I need to go.
It was moving, and the lookout was packed also, and there were police cruisers on the lookout, you know, so to protect people from unsavory characters.
All right. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Happy Independence to you all.
Same to you. Is it Labor Day today?
Yeah, it is. It's a holiday in US and Canada.
Labor Day in New York.
Yep.
See, Marshall has a couple
Labor Day
shows.
jam.
There was a show at the Apollo last night, I think, that
Well,
Marshall and
I
Crazy.
think
and all of them.
it's 3 days he's having
Shows.
shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 shows.
Yeah.
So interesting. I saw him on stage with Sparrow, and he paid Calypso Rose a visit. So it's good to know those two living legends are still going well.
I have to admit, I mean, I've known and been around Marshall a while, you know, in the cultural world and so on. Marshall has changed a lot, Marshall is a lot more accommodating, a lot more friendly. His attitude is everything has changed. Marshall is a lot more like Monty, his father.
But
If you
but
all
he's
ever
not,
met
isn't he
his
like 50
father,
years old now? At some point, he had to grow up, you know.
no, but if you ever meet Marshall's dad, he is, I mean, one of the nicest individuals you'll meet, and especially up in that forest there, because he's hardly come down. You understand? Marshall is a lot more like his dad now than
Age brings maturity, you know.
Yeah. You
And
can see it
wisdom.
in him. You can see it in him. The effort he's making to be friendlier and more accommodating and so on. You could see it. I'm really happy to see him that way. I have to admit.
Well, as I said, age brings wisdom and maturity. He's clearly a lot older now. He's not the same person he was 20 years ago, and neither were any of us.
I guess
We couldn't handle you 20 years ago. I mean, you were.
I'm more or less the same.
You were, I understand you were a handful, you know.
I'm more or less the same. I'm still a handful.
Well,
But I learned today there's a side door. I had to try that one.
you might want to follow the instructions carefully. I don't want to hurt yourself. Zena, anyway, let me not say that. It should be your papers.
they say he's also a vegan now, so you know diet affects personality.
What does this mean? He's not eating any bourgeois anymore?
You know, meat eaters are more hasty, not so.
I don't know, Wendell.
Where that come from? Well,
Dr. Job was a big proponent of that.
He was,
That diet played a part.
Yes,
was,
that
he was.
affects your
Played a part
psychology and your brain. So
and how people are, you know. Yes, I do have papers actually. So I could start with the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian for today. Of course, today is September 2nd, and it's the first day of school. So traffic is back.
And traffic is very heavy this morning.
Is back in full force. So the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian for this morning. Yeah.
Is today also the opening of the law term, Richard?
No.
I don't think so.
no.
I
I
think
think
it's
it's the
based on
17th. I think it's
based
the
on this
17th.
one. Yeah, it's
All
based
right.
on
The week
this.
of the 17th.
Okay.
School concerns. That's the headline on the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian for this morning. Incomplete repairs delay return to classes for some today. Steel Pan Month comes to an end. And of course, they're showing pictures from Pan on the Avenue yesterday. UWI Guild president refuses to resign. All of that is on the front page. An ex-soldier killed at Embacadere. On the back page of The Guardian this morning, Sixers rain as Puran lights up Warner Park. And that's the main story on the sports pages in the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian this morning. Moving along to the Newsday today. The Newsday this morning, what's the headline? I'll tell you, last minute push to open St. George's. Only Forms 1 and 2 start at Barataria College today. The main picture, big ride. Melise Crawford 4 smiles with a TT Coast Guard officer during the Independence Day Parade on Frederick Street in Port of Spain and on August 31st. And UNC gives Ministry of Education a failing grade. And on the back page of the Newsday, Pollard hails world-class compatriot in CPL opener. Puran's fireworks ignite TKR. And that's the main headline. And the back page and the other sub-headlines, TT and Barbados under-17s battle for 50 overs crown. Moving on to the Daily Express, which is the final of the 3 dailies this morning. The front page, school jitters. That's the headline. Tutor Tobago threatens shutdown if buildings are not fit. Lumpkin, educators working under less than adequate standards of repair. And former principal warns of chaotic opening of new term. Murder during Independence fireworks. $15,000 ransom for missing migrants. That's all of that is on the front page and ready to go. Here's a little girl with her backpack or choosing her backpack or getting her backpack ready. And on the back page, of course, it's family in shock. Police have no motive yet in kidnapping murder. This is, of course, of Andrew Persadi, whose body was found. And the main picture on the back page is that of the fireworks in Port of Spain on Independence Night. And it looks really spectacular. And the main sports story inside the Daily Express, Royals romp to victory. Dinock's dazzling knock propels Barbados franchise to dominant 9-wicket win. And that's it for our 3 dailies this morning.
Is it that the Jamaica Tallowers have no team in the CPL? I didn't see their name come up in the fixtures at all.
Can I tell you?
I didn't see it. Maybe they don't have a team. Somebody will message me.
All
That's
right,
what they-
do you guys have a poll? I have one actually.
We would hope so.
Yeah. After 62 years of independence, do you feel patriotic?
Yes, I can go with that. It's kind of more or less along the lines of we were going to ask.
Okay. You can do the same.
Paul, you want Steve
Let
Paul?
me give you the results of our morning poll that we asked you on Friday. Friday, we asked you, is enough focus being placed on the issue of home invasions in Trinidad and Tobago? That was our poll Friday. Results are in today. 100% everyone voted no.
Wow.
All right, this morning's poll, let's get into it. Our question, start calling, start messaging. As we enter our 63rd year of independence, are you hopeful for the future of Trinidad and Tobago? That's our poll question. 222-8255. North Americans, 866-525-1099. On WhatsApp at 318-1021. Facebook, YouTube. You can answer. So we got some votes. We got one so far. We got a couple actually. John Cato says yes. Good morning to Captain Ron, a home in Orlando. Val,
Morning,
good
Captain
morning.
Morning, Charmaine. Morning, Rena. Morning, Deborah Graves.
Yeah.
Morning, Gloria Charles Pantin, who has alignment on the avenue a little bit on Saturday.
Captain Ron says yes. You can put your name next to your.
I don't know if it's.
I got another yes. I have Finbar Collins, totally hopeful. Yes. Gregory Bauer, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Michael Gradison, yes. What says you, caller?
Good morning. Once Dr. Rowley is there, yes.
Oh, Jesus.
Thank you. Richard P. Knights, yes.
Oh, gosh. Why will they spoil report already?
Yeah, he's in the US. He went for a checkup.
Don't make the poll political now, please.
All
Since
right.
when?
Good morning.
Morning again. I agree with Miss Sampson. And I'm
Okay.
back again.
We're so surprised.
Rode that long time. Lester Craigwell. No to the poll with a heavy heart. Rena Boodoo Jennings, yes. Let's see. I have Kathy Ann saying yes. All right. As we enter our 63rd year of independence, are you hopeful for the future of Trinidad and Tobago? Yes or no? All right. Call us, message us. Helen Prescott says yes. Carol Guevara says yes. Alistair Hart, yes. All right, 222-8255, toll free for those in North America, Canada, 866-525-1099, WhatsApp at 318-1021. Slick Money Grip says yes, 100%. Vincent out in Birmingham, UK says yes. Emmanuel in Fort Lauderdale says absolutely. Esther, yes. All right. As we enter our 63rd year of independence, are you hopeful for the future of Trinidad and Tobago? Yes or no? Keegan Barrett says yes. All right.
You know what's not coming up today? My birthdays. I'm sure I missed somebody's birthday.
Mrs. R's birthday was yesterday. Sorry.
It was. That's what I was saying. I'm missing somebody's birthday.
Happy birthday, Mrs. R. I did tell her
Happy
that.
birthday, Christy.
Yeah, so her birthday was yesterday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Julie S. Batiste says yes.
Mrs.
Are
R.
you hopeful for the future of Trinidad and Tobago as we enter our 63rd year of independence? Yes or no?
I don't know if y'all are experiencing it too, but I have quite an unusual amount of friends who are migrating.
No, I'm not.
I have some that have.
Maybe the issue is you.
I have an experience, and generally they're all younger. They're all under 40.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're going to study or something? Finish study?
Basically migrating.
Okay. I've had a few people who have, but
Yeah, but they're all younger. The older ones the older friends I have, no, not among that group, but
Yeah.
younger, yes.
Actually, I was talking to a doctor yesterday, and he had just come back from vacation. And he was saying the flight was full going, full coming back. Sadly, he had to buy US in the black market.
sadly, that's where else you get it.
Can't get it from the banks.
Exactly.
So he was saying, he bets. It's not that he said, I bet everybody who traveled had to get money elsewhere. We do have a call. Good morning.
Good morning, Wendell. Steve grandfather, Jerry.
Morning, Mr. Patrick.
Morning.
Morning.
Morning, Mr. Patrick.
Yeah, man. I had a wonderful Independence birthday, boy.
It was
That
your
was your
birthday?
birthday?
Yeah, Independence
Independence Day is your birthday?
Happy birthday, Mr. Patrick.
All right, belated birthday greeting.
Happy birthday, Mr.
Are you also 62?
A little too more.
Okay. Very good.
Oh,
Happy
you're doing
birthday
well,
to you.
man. You're doing well.
Thank God for that, right?
All right.
Amen.
What do you think about our poll question?
Yes, you always have to have hope. You must always have to have hope. Don't give up.
All right. Thanks, Mr. Patrick. All right. CJ New York says yes. Anthony Miguel says yes. Rena Buru Jennings. Oh, didn't vote. Anthony Tinto says yes. Are you, as we enter our 63rd year of independence, are you hopeful for the future of Trinidad and Tobago? Yes or no?
Oh, my birthdays have completely disappeared from Facebook.
All right. Send us a message via WhatsApp at 318-1021. Call us at 222-8255 or 866-525-1099. Message us on Facebook and YouTube, as Kerwin Duke just did, saying yes. David Wes says all the time. Happy.
David, where's the best roti in Trinidad and Tobago?
You're asking David that?
Yeah.
Oh, because he's a foodie.
Yeah.
I say Juman.
I go in with hot chop. I don't care.
David, where's the best roti?
I don't know about you. I mean, Jumans is good, but I find Jumans is too big.
Somebody
Yeah,
convinced
order
me the other
small,
day.
You know, you cut it in half, right, Richard?
You could order small.
A friend of mine convinced me the other day to eat Dons. And he went and buy the Dons and bring it for me. It was the worst roti I eaten in a long, long time.
Wow. Let's grab this call. Good morning.
Just want to say happy birthday to Mrs. R and to Mr. Patrick and all others who celebrated their birthday. Bye.
Okay. Let's see. Alistair Hart says his last daughter, Jada Hart, was yesterday as well.
All right, happy birthday, Jada. I don't know why. Hey,
All right, let's get some votes going quickly. We have a minute and a half again. As we enter our 63rd year of independence, are you feeling hopeful? Yes or no?
A good school friend of mine, his birthday was over the weekend. Chaviram Rampasad was in St. Mary's with me, and a whole bunch of them went up to New York for his birthday.
Oh, nice, nice.
I was conspicuously absent, he told me.
I thought you might have been flying for Labor Day, you know.
No, I've done Labor Day a couple of times, and no, I'm good.
Likewise.
I did it once, and I swear
I
I
did it
never.
twice,
I'll
and
never do it
that's
again.
a no. That's a big no for me.
I did it once.
There's some nice pre-events, but you know.
They had a shooting and a stampede right where I was the 1 year I decided to do Labor Day. I said, not me and this nonsense.
David, what part of Tunapuna is Charlie's Roti? Is that the one on the street?
That's
opposite the
one
police
by
station?
opposite. If you take Page Road, and you cross the Eastern Main Road and you go right across, it's on the right-hand side.
Isn't that Ali's?
That is on Tunapuna Road.
I can't remember the name of that road.
The street opposite the police station.
Yeah.
Isn't that Ali's?
I
I
know
think
that
that's
road.
Charlie's, you know.
I think I tried that roti too, you know.
It is good. The one opposite that street opposite it is good roti. Small, nice pack. I don't think it's Charlie's.
Chagrid Road have a roti van? What part of Chagrid Road, David? They come out Monday to Saturday from 5 p.m.
Really?
Okay.
Didn't know that. All right,
But what
let's
part
get
of
into
Chagrid Road?
Let's get into our major news. AV is in.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
New school term starts today. Education Minister assures contractors have been working to get everything in place. Tobago schools said to be ready for the new school term. However, there is concern that work has to continue throughout the term. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley leaves for the U.S. for medical tests. 7 men arrested after a shootout with police during a routine house search exercise, and concern about teacher migration from Jamaica. Details in a moment. This is News to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. I'm Afril Sentelba. Good morning. The new school term starts today, and the government assures works took place during the July-August holiday period to get repairs to schools completed in time. Education Minister Dr. Nyan Gansby-Dolly told reporters recently that works were also being done on weekends and afternoons by contractors. It was revealed the Ministry of Education received hundreds of complaints in recent times over more than 60 schools that were currently being repaired. The Tobago Education Research and Technology Division reveals all schools are ready for the new term. It explains $20 million was spent on the school repair program. THA Education Secretary Zurisha Hackett says the first phase of the repair program addressed immediate concerns, while phase 2 will handle less critical repairs during the term. The Eco-Industrial Development Company of Tobago managed the school repair program for the second year, focusing on the most urgent repairs based on feedback from principals. The division says all 57 schools are set to reopen and said it will keep monitoring and addressing any remaining concerns. However, THA Minority Leader Calvon Morris is reportedly concerned work has to continue throughout the term, claiming this is unacceptable. Morris criticized Secretary Hackett for the ongoing demobilization of schools just hours before the new school term began. He said the THA failed to prioritize school repairs during the July-August vacation, resulting in contractors still working on some sites. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley traveled to the United States on Sunday, where he will undergo medical tests. Minister of Energy and Energy Industries and Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, Stuart Young, Senior Counsel, will act as Prime Minister until Dr. Rowley's return. 7 men were arrested during a shootout with police during a routine house search exercise. According to a police report, Northern Division Task Force officers went to a house located along Calypso Road, Manzanilla, to execute a search warrant for firearms and ammunition. Upon arrival, the officers observed a group gathered at the front of the house. On seeing the approaching police vehicles, several persons began running in the southerly direction towards the back of the house. The officers gave chase, and one of the men allegedly pointed a firearm in their direction. Both officers, believing their lives were in danger and in keeping with the use of force policy, discharged their firearms in the direction of the men. A chase ensued, and the officers subsequently subdued the 2 men. A search was conducted of a 27-year-old Spanish national, and 1 magazine containing 7 rounds of 9mm ammunition was allegedly found in his pants pocket. A second Spanish national, 36, was found holding a bandana. The officers gave him directions to drop same, which he did, and on examining the bandana, 1 hand grenade was found. Both men were also observed to be suffering from apparent gunshot wounds to their legs. They were both taken to hospital, where they are listed in stable condition. A comprehensive house search was conducted, and allegedly 1 Taurus 9mm pistol with 2 black-colored magazines and 6 rounds of ammunition was discovered. 5 other persons, all in their 30s, were arrested concerning the find. The scene was processed and the grenade was made safe and removed by the Explosive and Detection and Disposal Unit of the Special Branch. The body of a man who was kidnapped on Saturday was discovered near a pond in St. Madeleine, dashing hopes his family had of finding him alive. Andrew Posadi is believed to have been strangled to death with tie straps after he was abducted from his San Fernando home by 2 masked men on Independence Day. Police say they are treating the death as a kidnapping and homicide. However, they say the motive for the murder remains unclear. 42-year-old Posadi of Carnelia Crescent Union Hall worked as a driver with DH Movers. Investigators say he was leaving his home around 5:30 a.m. to go to work when he was confronted by 2 masked men. They reportedly placed tie straps on his hands and forced him to walk in a westerly direction. His family quickly alerted the police as well as the Hunters Search and Rescue Team led by Captain Valence Rambarat. However, around 12:15 p.m., officers from the St. Madeleine Police received reports that a body had been found near the pond. Police are continuing investigations. You are listening to news on Power 102 Digital to 7 o'clock. In Jamaica, Opposition People's National Party spokesman on education and community development, Senator Damian Crawford, says the government has adopted a false sense of security where teacher migration is concerned, as its own probe has revealed the numbers this year will mimic last year's and will surpass 1,400. He made the remark while speaking at a virtual news briefing put on by the party at its Old Hope Road headquarters in St. Andrew, Crawford.
I myself had conversations with many principals, as versus a recent article from the Ministry of Education that indicated that there was limited conversation between the government and the principals. And one employee of the ministry suggesting that speaking to the JTA would have been deleterious to the efforts that they had for importation of teachers, while this would be a necessary partner in ensuring that teachers are who would become members of the JTA.
In rebutting indications by Education Minister Favour Williams says there was less anxiety in the system about teacher migration this year, called for truthful information from the ministry as to the current and expected migration and the true numbers of teachers who have left the island over the last 5 years.
We only have our usual cadre of Cuban teachers and others that were in the system before. There has not been any new recruitment of teachers from other countries. There have been talks, there have been discussions, but our system continues now as we speak today to have the same countries that we've always had.
Well, finally, here's weather news. The Trinidad and Tobago Meteorological Service has issued a yellow level adverse weather alert. It went into effect from 7 p.m. on Sunday and will end at 9 a.m. today. The alert is expected to affect northern and eastern Trinidad. The Met Office says to expect partly cloudy to cloudy conditions with occasional showers. There is a medium to high chance of a few heavy showers or thunderstorm activity. Generally settled conditions during the evening into nighttime despite few lingering showers. Occasional wind gusts moving near 55 kilometers per hour could occur. Sea conditions can also become choppy or agitated at times. Street or flash flooding can occur in the event of heavy showers or thunderstorms. You can expect a temperature high this morning of 31 degrees Celsius at Piarco International Airport and 30 degrees Celsius at Crown Point in Tobago. Currently, it is 24 degrees Celsius at Piarco and 25 at Crown Point. Recapping your headlines to 7 o'clock. New school term starts today. Education Minister assures contractors have been working to get everything in place. Tobago schools said to be ready for the new school term. However, there is concern that work has to continue throughout the term. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley leaves for the U.S. for medical tests. 7 men arrested after a shootout with police during a routine house search exercise and concern about teacher migration from Jamaica. I'm Avril Sindilbab. That was news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. Look out for more news in detail at 12 noon and an update at 8 o'clock this morning. For more details, log on to power102fm.com.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
Alrighty, 9 minutes after the hour of 7 o'clock. Thank you so much, Avril, for our major news. You can join her again. Come 8 o'clock for our news brief. All right, traffic-wise, leaving south, heading to Claxton Bay, you got some volume. But from Coover, straight up to the interchange, you've got traffic. Traffic again is starting, you wouldn't want to know this, from pretty much La Horquita, and that is taking you straight out to Huey and then Curep to Port of Spain. Monroe Road to Curep, Eastern Main Road, just as bad. Maraval, Diego Martin School has opened. Lady Young Road, same thing. It is, traffic is just heavy this morning. Everywhere. Everywhere. All right. Let's see if we have any more votes here. I have, all right, HJB, thank you. You didn't vote. Val vote. She said yes. Thank you, Val. Esther Adams says yes. And That's all I got there, Rich.
All right, so our poll this morning, as we enter our 63rd year of independence, are you hopeful for the future of Trinidad and Tobago? We had 29 people voting on the poll this morning in the allotted time. And of the 29 people, 28 of you said, yes, you are hopeful. One person said, no, they're not. So the yeas have it in terms of feeling hopeful on the 63rd anniversary. As we move into the 63rd year, sorry. And of course, you can continue to vote on this poll throughout the day, through our programming, and we'll give you the final results tomorrow morning, which will be Tuesday. I was just watching this Megan Trainor video on Facebook where she's doing a song "Adore You," but she's doing it soca style. Because for those of you who know Megan Trainor, of course she has a lot of really good music, but her uncle is Trinidadian, so people may not know that. So she was doing a soca version of "Adore" on Jimmy Fallon. So that clip, yeah, it's Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was Fallon.
Yeah. That's a condolences going out to Mr. Ferdy Ferreira on the passing of his wife, Pearl Ferreira, over the weekend.
Oh, sorry to hear
Yes.
that. It's Mr. Ferreira.
Condolences also to the Dolly family in Arima on the passing of Robert Dolly, whom I had a very good friendship with. Robert was one of the hardest workers. I mean, he was one of those event organizers. Worked with us in a committee with Jerry Nares way back in the day. You know, he passed away over the weekend also too. You know, so condolences to his family and to all who knew him. He was at AS Bryden for a number of years also too. You know, so condolences on the death of Robert Dolly in Arima. Right? Yep. David Wells, I think you meant to say St. James Main Road there. You said Tragreed Road, but I think you meant to say St. James Main Road in terms of opposite Canai Doubles. I know the roti van. I see, as a matter of fact, I see long lines to that roti van, but you know, so I'll try it one day. But I like Canais too, but I'll try that roti van. I see it on the Western Main Road.
All right. Our guest was supposed to be Mr. Derek Chin. I'm not getting hold of him.
Or again, a lot of people hungry for roti for lunch today. You're promoting roti as the ideal lunch today, or what?
Paul love a roti too. I eat hot chop roti almost every week. Yeah? I have to tell you. Once I get to St. James, it's my preferred lunch. A mini beef with chana. That's
I like the mini beef. I only go hot shop, Wendell, at 10:05 when they open. Anytime after that, I ain't going. At that point, there is actually no line or two people or so in the line.
Right.
That's just after they open. And sometimes they don't have beef at that point.
Yeah, but then I can't go then.
Yeah, at early. Sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. Because generally the girls will know I will always ask for beef. I like the beef. I find they do a nice beef.
Very good.
If they don't have beef, then sometimes I just do the potato alone.
Yeah, I can't eat potato roti. I can't eat
sometimes I may do the chicken, but I prefer the beef.
The boneless chicken.
The boneless chicken.
Yeah, but there's a bone chicken and a boneless chicken.
Yeah, but I prefer the beef.
Yeah.
I have friends who will never order a boneless chicken. They want the chicken with the bone.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I am not that. I am not that. What you call it?
Adventurous.
But not adventurous. I was purist, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, no, I don't like the chicken with the bone either.
Yeah.
Because most times you get part of the chicken that I don't eat either for the bone, you know? You won't get breast then. Breast is for the boneless. I like breast. I'm a breast fan.
Yeah. I like breast too. I prefer breast and chicken. But the beef is good too. And well, of course, people like the shrimp and the goat and all those other things. I'm not.
Lester Cragwell and Rena Buru Jennings, a friend of mine actually went by Don's last week Friday and bring a Don's roti for me. Sorry.
But Don's is, I don't even know what Don's is.
Valley there by Crystal Stream there. Donny High.
Oh, that's in the West?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I wouldn't know it.
No. I don't. I maybe they were just be good, but it wasn't good that day.
Yeah, I don't know.
Shall we open the phone line since there seems to be no guests?
We're not getting Mr. Chin. Yeah. But there are some interesting stories also too coming out. Of course, CPL is on, people, just in case.
Yeah, I'm still trying. Give me two.
TKR would have won their game on Friday, Saturday, I think it's Friday or Saturday. Last night, I was watching St. Kitts Nevis Patriots versus St. Lucia Kings. And St. Kitts Nevis Patriots was going at a mile a minute. Evan Lewis, I think, scored 100. This is his first score over 50 in 4 years, I think, in the CPL, actually. But he had already scored, and then rain interrupted play, and that made me turn off my TV and decide, something. Let me try to get some sleep for Paul and them anymore.
But wait, Wendell, your good friend retired, Shannon Gabriel.
Yeah, and I said all praise to hallelujah. I say hallelujah, but he was the worst fast bowler playing for Trinidad and Tobago and West Indies, and he announced his retirement. So did Dwayne Bravo, but he was good. But Shannon Gabriel.
No, but Shannon Gabriel had some good moments on the field, man.
No.
That even you begrudgingly praised him from time to time.
What? You gotta replay that program for me to hear that.
Don't forget,
Shannon Gabriel ain't no good at all. Just like Romario Shepherd, he ain't good a little bit. He ain't good at all. I don't know what them doing playing with him.
I think Shannon Gabriel had maybe a mixed. He had some bad moments, but he had some good moments. He had some good moments.
You know that people just like a sport, but the sport don't like them?
No, I don't know that.
He was one.
But wish the man the best in retirement.
I
think he might be coaching, or I don't know what he's going to do.
But what coach and tell people what to do? What?
Might coach, I think.
What you coaching to tell people?
I mean, he has experience as a cricketer in West Indies cricket.
All right, Richard.
That's a credential. You can't take away those credentials from the man.
No, I'll be fast and
they're a little bit more gracious and let Jesus love you,
I know that Jesus loves me, Otherwise, Lord knows I wouldn't be able to deal and put up with the things I put up with.
Let Jesus love you a little bit. Be gracious.
Remember, you chose what you have to put up with her? Well,
no, some of them chose me,
Yeah, but you acquiesced and said I do also. So.
Well, that's what I said, because of what you said.
I ain't feeling this. You say, yes, said I do.
Because of what you said about me earlier on.
What's that?
Because I wasn't easy. I was just, that's me. I'm very accommodating, I put up with a lot, Watch my post on Facebook today about liberals.
Shall we open the phones, gentlemen?
Yeah, we have some calls already, so let's grab them. Good morning.
Morning, Steve, again.
Hi.
Yes. Paul, Dr. Paul Curry, you were asking about the street opposite the police station in Upon. It's Cochrane Street, Charlie's Roti Shop.
It's Charlie's, okay, thanks.
Yeah, Charlie. Okay. They are a long time and over 50 years, The lady told me that, So, over the weekend, well, Thursday to be exact, now, where I live, I don't curse water at all. We get water 24/7.
Okay.
And I'm living here like 24 years now, Never had problem for water. And I was really surprised that Thursday night, well, that was like Friday morning, after 1 in the morning, when I opened the pipe, I saw the water dripping a little bit. But at 6 o'clock, the same pressure, dripping. So I filled up some water. I have tanks. I have 2 tanks I don't use at all. So I normally, after 6 months, shore the water and so on and refill them. Now, I don't use a water pump because twice the pump was they're not working after a while. So I don't have to use it. So I don't have one now. You know, there was no water all day Friday, all day Saturday, the holiday, Independence Day. When we spoke to the councillor on our chat, the councillor said he spoke to the area manager and he was not aware that we were not getting water or the pressure was low. He said the pressure was low. He was not aware. The area manager said he was not aware and he will have to investigate. You know when he became aware? When people started complaining. I said, but what stupidness is it? Now remember, as I said, we don't have problem for water. So I didn't want to get on too bad, but at least if they said that water is going to be locked off because of some major fix, I don't have a problem with that either. But guess what? He said I have to investigate. So all day Friday, no water. All day Saturday, no water. And nobody saying anything. And I did not hear any news about that. And that is the Hollis Reservoir. You know, they send out a press release. I saw it on the chat. Select areas that don't have water. So how wasn't that in the news so people will be aware? Because everybody call it Bonaire, Arouca, 5 Rivers, Arima, some parts of Arima, and so on. We did not do anything. So yesterday morning, as I already chat again, they say water will come up at 8:20 in the morning. But it did, but the water, it tripled a little bit.
It will take some time for the pressure to build up.
All right.
Yeah, but since that, it is the same dripping thing from up to this morning. So, you know, over the weekend, I had to lift buckets, and I get a back pain by lifting buckets, and imagine that. So, I don't think it's all too much, you know. But if all it said water was going to be, if all it fixing a pipe, not going, but if you all going to fix a pipe, I would have had the water inside of my house. So, in some way that I wouldn't have to lift up any bucket from the tank. So next time now, I don't console you all the time, because always give us water 24/7. But anyway, I have a wonderful day, people.
All right. Thank you. Lots of calls. Good morning. Good morning.
Well, Minister Gonzalez had reached out to me a couple of weeks ago to tell me that there was a meeting, a town hall meeting on, I think it was the 14th of August. I think it was.
Hey, morning, Parrot.
Concerning water. Just now, concerning water for the Guanapo, people in the Guanapo region, which is central Arima, and works were starting there concerning the improvement works that would dramatically improve the water supply for central Arima. So there was some, but he did contact me about it, and so I did thank him for letting me know. So those works, for those of you in central Arima area, those works would have begun or are beginning in Guanapo, which is where a lot of central Arima gets their water, and hopefully that will lead to 24/7 supply, which we have never gotten.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning, caller.
Yeah, hey, morning. Yeah. I just, the article on Newsday, Section 8, Minister, life is not perfect, don't take free education for granted. Which, at least it's saying here, you know, we offer free education, we have free education, but this thing about free, and we give free education, is that we pay our taxes, and we contribute, and we have our oil and gas, but, you know, nothing is free. And this idea, I find it's a very condescending statement by politicians. On
they love to, Dean.
We give you this when we contribute our money to say as a national community that we have free, we have healthcare, we have open education, and we could always argue about how free that is. But we contribute. And I mean, hey, you need to either hold them and tell them the other wheel and turn on that statement.
That's not going to happen.
They give us. No, but we have to do that. We have to say, hey, we pay our taxes for this. We have to tell them that. You ain't giving us this on your, you know, we have contributed for this quote-unquote freeness that they feel that they have given us this blessing. And I find, party people, when they're doing a party, all they are say, hey, yo, dread, hey, nah, all they off that.
Dean, you ain't find I was getting enough trouble with my mouth.
Well, your back, that means your back hard. Well, you get real lad, you know how to do. But oh God, I don't like when politicians do us that, man. Like, we just sitting down in the corner, just, hands out, and things dropping from this, manner when people don't. And I hear that from the citizenry, communities say that. They give us, you're paying this. And that's why this land, and it will be interesting with this land and property tax things. Now you have a receipt in your hand of your contributions that you're making for your garbage and the cleaning and the thing. And people, the civic understanding our citizens have about how a society is run through the contributions and which is a cooperative thing, There's a cooperative thing. Everybody contribute and we say, okay, poor people, somebody lower than me, I have a little more privilege than you. We contribute so that person could make a move up. But we all contribute for that. And this thing about freeness, there are no free thing out there. All right.
Every time I hear you, I think of Bob Marley. I don't know why that is.
You ever see him?
Okay. Or Jamaica.
You can pass above one above Marley.
I think of Bob Marley and Jamaica for some reason.
Yeah.
Why is that?
You should see him too.
Okay. That's an honor, man. That's an honor.
Dean,
Right.
you must invite him to one of your events.
What events is that?
Yeah.
An artist.
We'll do that. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why he's an artist.
Yeah. But that freeness thing is not wrong. That it's like it's almost like the massa syndrome. All they're getting it free, so be grateful.
Okay.
Be grateful. Okay? You're getting it free. It irks me too.
Morning, caller.
Hey, good morning, Steve and everybody. I was reminded when earlier on when you were talking about the U.S. currency, when the caller spoke about the U.S. currency, about the situation that I had. I was going to the United States for 3 weeks. 3 weeks I was going to the United States for, and went to FCB Bank to purchase some US. And FCB Bank, the representative at FCB Bank told me I could get $200. I'm like, okay, I have bought the tickets like maybe 2 weeks in advance. I said, well, okay, so I'll get $200 today, and tomorrow I'll come for 200 and following and so on and so on. They said, no, sir. So every ticket that you purchase, the bank could give you $200.
Mm-hmm.
So left up to FCB, I am to go to the United States. If I don't have a credit card or a debit card or anything like that, it could be thing drawn on. The bank, I am only allowed $200 to leave this country with to go to the United States for 3 weeks.
Yep.
That's what.
And Lincoln, let me add to that. Let's say you went to the United States and you came back and you wanted to go to Canada or to London. Do you know you can't get any currency? It's 200 of any currency, during that time,
Well, what they told me, I had to buy a next ticket. They'll come with a fresh ticket to get another 200 again. So if I go and come back, I could get a next 200 again. So, but that is asinine, right? Scotiabank tell me I could come every day and get $200, right?
Scotiabank say that?
Yes, Scotiabank. I'm not gonna lie. Scotiabank did tell me every day I could come and get 200. However, I don't reach the 8:30.
Yeah.
They don't tell you. They tell you all the US they done already.
I had gone to Scotiabank.
Yeah.
I remember I had gone to Scotiabank.
Thank you.
I must have asked for like 300 or 400, and I got it, and they didn't even ask me to see a ticket.
But you are a customer that they know. For customers that don't know, it's generally $240 and that's it. And as I say, if you're traveling onwards to other destinations during that trip, you're not going to get that other currency. Forget it. You're getting one currency alone.
Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. Can someone tell me when those foreigners commit crime, if they get deported?
If foreigners commit crime, if
Yeah,
they
like
get
how they, like how do
after their sentence.
Okay, and when then we get to the property tax, they start to collect property tax. Just no money is no problem, but the problem might be money. Might be
Well,
money.
I heard there were long lines in Port of Spain to pay property tax the other day. I say, well, I have to go Arima. I have to find some time this week to go Arima and pay mine. Because I am going to pay mine. I have it right on the desk in front of me.
Yes, so they're not supposed to have any money problem now. And one other thing, Wendell side door exists. My front door is my bedroom, and my living and dining area and kitchen is my side door.
Oh, your front door could be a bedroom.
Yes, my bedroom is in the front. I draw my house plan, my bedroom is in the front. I hardly stay in the kitchen to cook because I alone living here. So I in front. So I don't want to be in my bedroom in the back and I not seeing what taking place in front. My front door is my bedroom.
All right.
And my side door, when you go up my ramp and you go in the side door, you see living room, kitchen, and the other bedroom in the back.
Okay.
I build my house sounding like somebody. I myself are the Lord built here, I was the architect, when I must send my house plan for it. It's amazing. I always like to do that, but Daddy never sent me to architect school.
All right. Interesting.
All right.
I could like that.
All right.
All right. Good morning. Good morning.
Thanks, Carol. Is that Tuna Puna? All right. I know that I know.
Richard.
Richard. Yeah.
He's here. Go ahead.
Seeing that you are the mayor of Arima, it's only you that Marvin could tell. Because I came in to know water, and for 2 days I was very vexed. So why he didn't come on the program here with Oli and announce that so people will know? When I asked my husband, did any announcement come out about, anybody?
No, but that's Hollis. You from Hollis. I wasn't dealing with Hollis. I dealing with Guanapo. Let Hollis people deal with their own business.
No, when he's in charge of all.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm saying.
But Guanapo was a particular problem. And Guanapo has a particular problem. So he was informing me that particular problem at Guanapo was finally being addressed. But Guanapo controls water for Central Arima. It's the city of Arima.
That is all. And Wendell, you never hear about side door. What is wrong with you, boy? Your house too big and modern. Huh?
Yes.
Your house too big and modern for that you know about that.
Yes.
You live in Big Shot area and Big Shot house.
Okay.
You know about what, Wendell?
Thank you.
Side door.
Huh?
Side door.
Oh, side door.
So I have to go to the Tuna Puna court to pay. All right. Thanks for the information, folks.
Good. Oh my God. Oh, by the way, theaters on this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, as we head towards the weekend, even though it is Monday. I do not care. I'm telling you anyway, because the box office at Queensall opens from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Lotto Madness is on this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, Saturday at 8:30 and Sunday at 6:30 at Queen's Hall. And it's our final two shows in Port of Spain at Queen's Hall. And thank you for the fantastic comments on social media for all the people who have come, in South, in Cipriani College, and of course at Central Bank Auditorium. I mean, loads of comments about people about the show. And so we're on this weekend at Queen's Hall. And of course, you can also get tickets at K Squared Fashions, at West Mall, Eastgate, and Brentwood Mall, Chagonas, Electronics in Arima, Jabili Rawe in Tuna Puna, Sharfley Auto Services, and of course, Antoni's Florals in Valpark Shopping Plaza, as well as online.
All right, gentlemen, it is 35 minutes after the hour is 7 o'clock. On the line, I do have Mr. Derek Chin. Good morning to you, Mr. Chin.
Good morning.
Morning, of course.
Hi.
Welcome to the Power Breakfast Show on Power 102 Digital. Of course, we have Richard Raghubar saying Wendell Stephen, and of course, Paul Richards with me this morning.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thank
And
you,
thank you for
John.
taking the
Good morning,
call.
Mr.
I know you're very busy. So let's get straight into it.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Chen. Thanks for joining us on the Power Breakfast Show this morning. And
Thank
of
you.
course,
Well, I was away for a while. I only came back in early yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you haven't heard from me. Because, I obviously, I know you're calling me about the issue with Movietown and the port.
yeah.
So
Yes.
this is my first opportunity to actually say anything publicly,
All right. Well, thank you.
Wonderful.
All right. Go ahead, guys.
So is the issue at this point resolved to some degree? I know that Movietown would have paid the $3 million by the deadline that was indicated by the court, which I think was the 28th of August. What is the current status?
Well, as you know, let's go back to the idea of re-entering Movietown, which, as the attorneys and you see, nothing has closed down. That re-entry was considered very illegal, and I'll go into that a little bit later. But as it stands right now, Movietown continues to operate as normal. We are still the owners and the landlords. The tactics of the port have been all about bullying and taking advantage of a situation that they know very well that has been going on as late as of July this year. So if you're in matters in the court and the matters have been in discussion and correspondences going on a week-to-week basis in recent times, then you don't just all of a sudden re-enter and talk about taking over and determining leases. As it stands right now, we got an injunction where the $3 million was placed as part of our arrangement with the judge. The judge said that the court cannot contact or be in contact with any of our tenants. Right? I think you're all aware of that. And the tenants were told they have to deal with us, meaning Movietown. And secondly, that they have to not interfere with the operations of Movietown to prevent anything from happening and so on and so forth. Well, they continue to defy that and break the law. And I'm meeting actually today with the police to say, listen, I have an order here, which is an order from Justice Honeywell. And basically all the requirements, whether it's the $3 million payment in advance as part of our arrangement, but the other parts, meaning occupying the premises and preventing my officers and my staff from being able to do and conduct business, is a contravention of this particular order. And why it is that they can continue illegally. I mean, I think an order is a law. So that is one of the big issues. I'm asking the police to intervene and ask them not to block the use of our offices. They've now said, okay, you can open from 8 to 4. But Movietown is a 24-hour, 7-day business. It doesn't close. We have movies that go out till 11 o'clock. We have events that take place at the banquet center. We have weddings. And they are still occupying and preventing based on that injunction. So that's my biggest issue to deal with today, to ask the police if they could intervene and tell the port that they are acting illegally and they're contravening the order by Justice Honeywell.
But Mr. Chen,
biggest concern, yes.
Yeah. What would have caused this action in the first place? Because this surely wasn't an overnight thing. Was there some sort of negotiations taking place prior to bring it to that action?
Very good question and very good observation. When you deal with the port, when you write a letter, you have to wait about 4 months to get a response. So when they talk about it taking so long, we have been trying to organize and pay off whatever arrears there have been. But one of the problems with this 5-year renewal process is that they have to get a valuation. And just after COVID, we got a valuation and we paid. We said we agreed to the valuation done by Farrell. Only to find out, because of COVID, and when we started to look at the numbers and try to make things tight, because obviously we were closed for business and so on, we realized that the Farrell report was flawed, that it's not they based it on raw land, which is what we are renting from the port, but they put all the buildings, like if they built the buildings, into the valuation so that the cost per square foot now skyrocketed. And we said, gentlemen, we are willing to pay on the raw land as stipulated in the lease, right? You have not done so. And therefore, this valuation is flawed. So we cannot accept it. We need to get other valuations
and come up with what would be a realistic valuation on the raw land that we are leasing from you. They continue to deny that, and in contravention of the lease, I'm not talking about me making this up, in contravention of the lease, they continue to put a higher valuation than should be because of adding in the buildings that were built by Movietown and nothing to do with any investment from the port. And therefore, the rate became very high, which we would have to pass on to the tenants, and the tenants can't pay because that would show their rents probably about 40 to 50% higher. Even today, they can't pay the lower rent that we had from before. So that was one of the issues. Then we went into the negotiation, trying to come to some sort of settlement. We did so as of July of this year, when I met with the chairman, Mr. Alexander, on his invitation. I met with their team, and my team. And we said, okay, we will agree to pay the undisputed amount, which is, like they claim is 10 million, but we said, no, it's not, because of that flawed valuation. And we made an offer of $6 million. Even if you look at 10 million as accepted amount, we offered them $6 million, and to keep the rate as is until we go to the court and finalize if the valuation is flawed or not. Right? This is of July of this year. Then they said out of a handshake and agreement and three hours of meetings and having a lunch and everything else, we shook hands and we left. We provided the draft with the offer of the $6 million and to keep the rate at $194,000 per month, right? Which is what we've been paying. This is even without the concessions for COVID. So the next 2 or 3 days, strange enough, they responded, which is very out of no ordinary. I tell you, they usually respond 3 to 4 months after. They rejected it. I said, but no reason. We just rejected it. I said, well, I mean, we were very taken surprised because we felt that was a very generous offer in settling this matter. Then they said, okay, we want to go to arbitration. I said, okay, we will go to arbitration. We selected a gentleman named Justice Mandonza. Within 3 days, because we had to wait for them to respond. And they said, oh, you haven't responded. We have Justice Stolmeyer, but why have you responded? I said, it's only 3 days. You have to give the man a chance to say yes or no, which he did, and we have that in writing. Then on July the 22nd, right, they came back and said, okay, we decided not to go the arbitration route as stipulated in the lease and matters like this. We will go to the High Court, which we had also recommended, that arbitration takes a long time and it also is a little more costly. So they came back and said, okay, well, we agree with your suggestion of going to the court, and we have that detailed and in writing. On July the 22nd, they came back and said, okay, they will go to the court. On July the 23rd, they entered Movietown. Not even a day. They entered Movietown and said, we want to determine the lease and we want to, use the re-entry process, which is again against the law. The law and the courts don't take that kindly because we are in the middle of discussions, middle of settlements, and you have re-entry is usually the last resort, right? And that is what has happened to date.
Mr. Chen, good morning. How much had this affected business on that weekend of the 23rd, and has business still been impacted by that?
Well, I would say, we are coming into the last week before school, so it's still holding. I mean, the place is still very busy. I would say that people don't really understand all that went on. They see these numbers and these things in the papers. But the most damaging thing to us is our reputation, because I have spent my lifetime building this place from 22 years and trying to create an environment that is positive, unlike the rest of the country. Right? So I would say it's embarrassing to me. As I said, I wasn't here at the time. It's embarrassing to Movietown that has created one of the bright beacons of this country's development. And instead of sitting down and trying to help and build something that is very good, all we get is attacks one on top of each other.
One of the other issues that arose, Mr. Chin, even before this, because we spoke to you during the COVID-19 pandemic and lockdown, and you would have indicated that the Movietown management had a serious challenge financially, as many other businesses. But recently, even before this, we would have seen in the newspapers yourself, well, the Movietown complex having owed the state $93 million. Is that accurate?
Right. No. We have already filed our objections. We have negotiated with the BIR, who has helped us in a way to start to make payments towards or some sort of settlement schedule, which we have done. But we have obviously the 93 million, of which 60-something million is the interest alone. And the amount is more, and the amount has to be contested, which we have shown them. Yes, we were guilty in terms of not filing our returns, but we're talking about a period of 20 years at least. My biggest issue was the fact that when I built or was about to build Movietown, I got concessions in taxes. I got a 7-day reduction in tax, 50% off the annual rate under the Tourism Act of 2000, right? When I claimed and submitted those returns, I submitted it at 17%. It was half of 34%. What happened then was they did not accept it because they didn't have the sort of relationship with the tourism board that these things weren't put into order from the tourism side, although I have it in writing. So when I submitted 17%, they rejected it. I said, well, until you all get your act together with left hand and right hand on the same page, I'm not sending in any returns. Why must I pay 50% more of a concession I got to build Movietown?
But put a pause. What you just clarified a lot there. You said that of the 93 million, 60 million was interest, which means there was like $30 million owed or so in taxes. How long does that represent in taxes not being paid out of Movietown's 21-year history?
Oh, what I told you that when you compound the outstanding amount, it's 60-something million, of the 90 million was what was interest and penalty, right? So we were guilty of not paying anything because of what I just mentioned. Of course, when you went on to the latter years and so on and so forth, you know, we realized due to whatever, I never knew that my accountants didn't pay the tax returns. I said, well, you all are guilty of that, and we accepted that. So we went back down and negotiated with the BIR a payment schedule, and then also started to put in the objections. If we don't mind paying the taxes, we want to pay the correct taxes, and that's where we are at the moment.
How do you respond to persons who say, because a lot of persons have responded to that, and you're explaining a lot this morning, thank you for that they were objections, but when you say, well, my accountants weren't paying the taxes, and you have a 21-year history, even with the machinations you identified, persons are saying, well, you're expanded in Guyana, you're expanding into other areas of Trinidad and Tobago, but your accountants are not paying the taxes. Doesn't sound like proper business practice.
Right. I agree with that. I mean, those accountants are no longer with us many years ago, so the work to get cleared up all this matter took time. But there is an issue where the corporate tax part of it was, we were delinquent, and I admitted that. So we went back and apologized and said, listen, this happened and that happened, but let us get together and sort it out and start to do exactly that. They said they're not interested in closing down Movietown or anything like that, but obviously they would like corporations to pay their taxes. And I said, I agree. I mean, I'm embarrassed by the fact that the people I had given that job to do didn't do it. And we had to go back and find and search over the 20 years, go into all the archives and start to find returns that were prepared but never submitted. So it was sort of something that we've dealt with and we are continuing to deal with. And hopefully we can come to some sort of restitution and solve this problem. So it's a matter that happened, and we obviously were embarrassed about it.
Yeah, Mr. Chin, I think it takes a big man, and I respect you for that, for at least admitting this morning that you were wrong, you all were wrong, and you all are making amends to correct it. But how do you see the future of Movietown? Because, I mean, let's face it, Movietown is a gem. You've done wonderful work down there, right? A lot of people enjoy the facility and so on. How do you see the rebuilding of that relationship with the authorities and moving forward in what you plan to do down there?
Well, thank you very much. And yes, I'm glad I have gotten some sort of appreciation. But I think the public, the people of Trinidad and Tobago recognize what it was. We took a place that was really swampy underwater, and nobody wanted it. And you know, the first piece of land that we got negotiated then with the previous chairman was the land that is known as the Spectrum, which was already concreted, or what you call asphalted, and a flat land, and they were having, you know, parties and all sorts of things under Mr. Monroe. We had negotiated that, and at the last minute they said, "Oh, we don't think we want to do it anymore. It's the only piece of land we have west of the port," and they reneged. So what was left was this swampy little area, right? Which was, as I said, nobody was interested in it. It was part of the reclamation process. All the debris and stuff was passed on there, and then the water from the stadium was sort of drained into that. And as I said, it was not a very nice place. So that was all I had. And I said, well, boy, having negotiated for the Spectrum and spent money and tried to buy out the previous people, Mr. Monroe and so on, what do I get? They said all they have left is 6 years. And no bank would lend me any money to build any movie town with only 6 years left on that existing lease. So Mr. Isaac McLeod was the then chairman, a very nice guy, and he understood and he saw my pain. You know, he said, Derek, all I could offer you is that piece we have, which is where you are now. It's 10 acres, but as is. You know, all I could give you, because the board says, well, they want to hold on to now the Spectrum. Well, you see what the Spectrum is still to this day. It's a big car park. There's no money, nothing on it, right? And what we have done 20 years after is move it on next door to it. You all compare the two, right? What is the value of that land? Well, it still has never earned any money for anybody, or the government for that matter. But Movie Down has been paying millions and millions of dollars. I'm trying to calculate how much money I've paid over the 22 years to the port, right? And then they come and say, well, we owe them $10 million. I'm sure we must have paid over $100 million already over the 22 years. And they talk about $10 million, which is
well, as you said, you know, I mean, they acted, and unfortunately, it ended up in a public spat. No one can discount them. I think I endorse what Wendell has said is that I think no one can deny that the investment of time and your effort and energy and your team in developing that area has added tremendously to the life of Trinidad and Tobago. Were you surprised when the issue of your tax arrears became public?
Yes, I was, because we never really was brought up. We were so busy running and dealing with Movie Down because it's growing and all the pressures and stuff of that, as I said, was an oversight that I was very embarrassed about. Is that how could this happen? I mean, I didn't even consider. I'm not a person that deals with the taxes side, and the accountants would do their job, come to the board, present the financials, but they never brought up the issue that, you know, we are in arrears for tax. And then again, the acknowledgement from the BIR was something that I never saw.
That sounds strange from a company perspective. Accountants in company environments present audited financials on a regular basis, in many cases in companies on an annual basis. So to hear that a board of directors or a team of managers is not looking at financials and asking questions about tax liabilities, ongoing concerns, profit and loss is very strange to hear. From an operation of that size. That sounds very strange to me. And I'm sure people listening, it sounds very strange to them in terms of governance of an organization of that size.
Okay, a lot of the years going through, I think one of the councils felt that there was a big serious problem because there were a lot of years that were lost years, especially during the COVID era, you know, which is more recent times. But you're right. I mean, I said, but how come I never saw an assessment? How come I never saw, and you know, there were times when Movie Town was very, very financially in trouble. And that's why they probably, my accomplices didn't want to bring the true picture. But we did have monthly meetings. And as I said, I was surprised that we never really tackled the annual return situation. I mean, all the VAT and everything have been paid, you know, that's the things that we deal with on PAYEs and so on. That's all up to date. But in terms of the actual financials, meaning the annual return, was where I think we were delinquent, you know. And that is, as I said, you know, the time to go back now and deal with it is what took time, because it's a long time. We're talking from 2004 onwards, you know. And again, the issue about not having, getting the concession was also a reason why those returns didn't come in, and again, things just went on. And and we reached a stage when we were told by the board that, listen, you fellas have this kind of money owed to us, and of course we didn't say, well, too bad. We started to hire new people and bring in. You can see if you want to check what are accounting firms now to try and clean up the act, and that's where we are.
Now, given these two sets of liabilities that we know about, what is the future of Movietown? Do you think it's still a viable concern going forward? It's a lot of investment placed in that environment.
Yeah, well, Movietown, I mean, if you put a valuation in it in terms of, if I was to sell it, it's certainly not going to be for $10 million. All right? And if you're talking, I'd say it's not 90 million, it's more like, I just say 20 million. The Movietown is, I think, worth a lot more than that. And we continue to develop, that is something that we'll manage. We'll deal with our banks and so on. And the business is, I think, a viable one if it's now that we've got through the COVID era, which, you don't just take COVID lightly. People say COVID was 4 years ago, whatever. COVID between 2020 to 2023 had a tremendous impact on many of our business, specifically ours. We're in the entertainment business, and that was the one that got the most hits in terms of all the restrictions, So we had to shut down some of the businesses. Tenants could not afford to pay, so we had to give them a lot of leeway, and so on and so forth. So we are only seeing 2022 into 23 a recovery process, and thank God we've got some better movies, and we are working to keep our costs down and continue to think positively. It's something that I would say is my legacy, and I'm not going to see it just be destroyed, just like what the perception is with all the embarrassment and so on.
Mr. Chin?
We've expanded into Guyana because of the Streets of the World issue, where the lands behind us was not granted, and we had to find alternative sources to invest and to continue to grow. And Guyana, we've changed the same way. We've changed the landscape in Trinidad, but with entertainment and places like that. We've done the same thing in Guyana, and it's doing pretty well over there now.
Mr. Chen, just for clarity, with the decision of Justice Honeywell, who left it up to the tenants to decide who they must pay, has that been rectified? Has that situation been rectified?
Well, as I said, the port continues to not breach the requirements in that order, and the tenants have been told you are not to deal with the port, and same way the port has been told you're not to deal with the tenants, no contact, no communication, and all rents are to be paid to the landlord, meaning Trinbago, right? What they also have been told not to do, and which they are continuing to breach it, is to interfere with the activities and the operations of Movietown. They're telling me I can't come into my office, or now they change it back to, okay, come at 8 o'clock in the morning and leave at 4. I said, but Movietown runs right through the night. We have weddings, we have conferences, we have people who have made bookings a year ago. I mean, what are you trying to do? And they continue to occupy the offices and not allow my staff the freedom to do what they have to do. So today I'm meeting with the police to ask them, well, here, what is good? You get an order and it's not being taken seriously.
So you're saying the port is still occupying your offices at Innovators Bay?
Yes. And this is what I have now returned. And I said, I'm going to deal with this because you are in breach of the order given by Justice Honeywell, who didn't want to vary and say, well, these are what...
They're occupying offices and doing what exactly?
Just sit down with guards outside and telling us, well, you have to leave or you can't come in and things like that, and sleeping on our sofas in the banquet hall and preventing people from coming in to take a walk around, see if they want to book the venue. So that to me, that means...
So they're interacting with your clients and customers, potential customers?
Yeah, well, if you have bodyguards sitting down outside your door, outside your office, and then telling me I can only come into the office at 8 o'clock in the morning and leave at 4. And then if you don't leave, they're going to throw you out. I see, well, I don't understand.
But isn't part of the court order, according to you, non-interference in the operations and the management of the entity?
Yeah.
What I'm not understanding, Mr. Chen, though, is that you would have attorneys, and if an order is in breach, why aren't your attorneys activating that the order is being breached and taking it back to court?
Well, this is exactly, they tried to go back to court on Saturday to ask Honeywell if she could make that variation to say, listen, operations mean X and Y. You cannot be doing what you're doing. But she decided to defer to Justice Kangaroo, who is supposed to come back into the country by Friday and have the court hearing to deal with that and to deal with the substantive issues also. So this is what makes me understand, well, what is the use of this law? I mean, it's there in black and white. It's Queen's English or King's English, and yet the court continues to defy the order. So it's in contempt, and therefore that's a criminal action. The police say, well, it's a civil matter, so they don't want to get involved. But I said, but it's not a civil matter. You have to. The order is the law, and you have to follow the law. So as I said, I'm meeting with them at 10 o'clock this morning.
Well, we hope to get an update tomorrow, Mr. Chen. Thank you for taking time to talk to us this morning.
Yeah.
We appreciate your time and your contribution.
Okay, so thank you very much for allowing me a little bit of time to expose what is really going on. Okay?
Yeah. Thanks, Mr. Chen.
Thank you, Mr. Chen.
Thank you very much.
All the best to you.
It sounds crazy to me. Well, a lot of it sounds crazy.
Very
Quite
crazy.
frankly. The accountant's part sounds crazy. The Port Authority thing sounds crazy. It just sounds
It's
very,
a standoff. It's a
very, very. So what?
Standoff.
If that is true, and Richard said last week, the clients are in no legal arrangement with the port. You can't pay the port if I have no agreement with you. And what are you trying to do by being in my office? What do you hope to accomplish? You all have a great day. Be safe. Be careful out there. Look at the young ones. They're out of school this morning. Please drive even more safely. They're out of school.
Yep, folks, have a wonderful day. Remember to let go and let God. And my apologies for not getting my birthdays up and running. But if you are celebrating a birthday, have an absolutely wonderful day. Bye-bye.
All right. So have a fantastic day. I mean, the first day of the school year. Yeah, first day of school year. Of course, Lotto Madness is on this weekend at Queen's Hall. The box office at Queen's Hall opens from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily. You can check RSRR Productions Theatre on social media for how to purchase tickets online, as well as for more information. Tickets available at all our usual outlets, so you know where they are, and I said them earlier. Have a fantastic day, whatever you do. Remember to smile and laugh. It's great for your health.
All right. Thank you, Richie Rich. All right. Let's get into our 8 o'clock news brief.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
It is time for your news update at 8 o'clock. I'm Avril Cynthia Bob. Good morning. Movietown CEO Derek Chen said they now have an injunction that's being ignored. A High Court judge issued an injunction preventing the Port of Spain Infrastructure Development Company from communicating with tenants of the Movietown Multiplex Entertainment and Commercial Center at Invaders Bay in Port of Spain. Chin said that Posenco are also not to get involved in the operations of Movietown. However, he said they are still occupying their offices at the facility and said they've placed a security guard at the offices and have been turning their workers away and dictating what time they can return to work. Chin gave the information while speaking on the Power Breakfast Show this morning. He said he's seeking the police authorities' intervention as they are acting illegally by not adhering to the injunction. Separately, he also said the issue of his tax arrears was quite embarrassing when it became public. He said that it was an oversight, and besides that, he did not hold oversight over accounting aspects of the organization. He said that he was surprised with the situation, that in terms of the actual returns, there had been some downfall. He also revealed that many businesses, including Movietown, continue to feel the adverse effects of the COVID pandemic. However, he still sees Movietown as a viable entity, and he disclosed that he had no intention of seeing it deteriorate in any way. A new school term starts today, and the government assures works took place during the July-August holiday period to get repairs to schools completed in time. Education Minister Dr. Nyan Gansby-Dolly told reporters recently that works were being done on weekends and afternoons by contractors. It was revealed that the Ministry of Education received hundreds of complaints in recent times over more than 60 schools, and they were currently dealing with the situation. The Trinidad and Tobago Meteorological Service says it's currently monitoring an area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms associated with a tropical wave which could affect TNT. In a statement on September 1st, the TTMS said at 8 a.m. the axis of the tropical wave was located approximately 700 kilometers east of the southern Windward Islands. It said gradual development is possible during the next few days and that there is a low chance, near 10% of development in the next 2 days, but a medium chance within the next 7 days. And a Princestown father of 4 drowned while attempting to save his cousins at Mayaro Beach yesterday morning. 33-year-old Rajiv Chaitram, also called Pa, went with his family on a trip to the beach near St. Anne's Road in Mayaro. Chaitram drowned trying to save his relatives who had encountered difficulties in the water. Relatives said Chaitram noticed his cousins were being overcome by waves and ventured in to save them from 6:20 a.m., but he also got into difficulties, and when he was brought to shore, he was unresponsive. Well, that was your update to 8 o'clock. Look out for news in full at 12 noon.
Alrighty, 5 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock on this Monday, the second day of September. Let's say good morning, good on to Denise Deming. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Good morning. And thank
Morning.
you for having me here. So I'm going to begin. Welcome to Power Conversations. This is a digital program which brings together influential voices to discuss critical issues, all of these intended to shape our society, our economy, to help our culture grow. And today is a special day because we have 2 guests. And those 2 guests, one, they both are involved in sports. One is the president of the Trinidad and Tobago Road Runners Association, Road Runners Club. Welcome, Deborah. Welcome to our program. Good morning.
Good morning, Denise, and all the listeners. Hope you all are hearing me clearly.
Yes, we are hearing you clearly, and you're looking good, so we can continue.
You might be hearing my dog as well, but let's just ignore that.
And that's fine, because most of us have some kind of pet. And that's absolutely wonderful that your dog is there and you're not trying to make him hush.
Yes.
So, as you join our program, tell us something about your background. Who are you?
Well, I am Deborah Agong. I have what people tend to consider a unique personal story. So I was born in England to parents from St. Vincent and Uganda, but raised mostly in Trinidad. I came to Trinidad when I was 4 years old. I lived in Diego Martin my entire life, and I love it. I don't hope to ever leave Diego Martin. I went to school in Diego Martin, and I went to St. Francois Girls College, which were some of my, as most people might testify, good or not so good years when it comes to you as a person, but that's normal. And then I went to University, UWI, Arthur Lockjack, and I've begun my running journey about 20 years ago.
You began your running journey 20 years ago.
Yeah.
What inspired you to start to run?
Well, like a lot of women, I had weight issues. And I would say still have, because it's something like, I consider it like almost like an addict who always has these issues going through life, but you just try to manage it. And that was how I started. I actually started in fitness center gym. My aunt encouraged me because she was a big fitness enthusiast. Fitness center in Diego Martin, and I was in the gym, going along as normal. And then I met Howard Dutton and Simon Gonzalez, and they were regulars at that gym. But they also did a running day. One of their days, I think, was a Wednesday. They would go running around the area. And for some reason, I think because I always grew up in a family of sport, so I accustomed watching the Olympics and seeing track and field, and I always had in the back of my mind that I wanted to be a runner too. So this one morning, I decided I would go with them. It was 5 o'clock on a Wednesday morning. And I remember we left from Starlight Plaza Fitness Center gym. And we ran, I don't think it was even a mile, from Fitness Center to West Moorings. And I had to turn back because I couldn't keep up. And well, needless to say, I was highly embarrassed, felt terrible about myself. And I went back in the gym and ran on the treadmill for about half an hour or an hour, just to kind of get rid of some of the embarrassment and disappointment that I couldn't make it. And after that, I didn't really journey back into running at all. I just kept in the gym and I became a gym rat, as you would call it. So in the gym all the time. And then I met Rhonda Simmons, now Rhonda Simmons Doyle, who is the wife of one of the members of the club, Glenn. And we met at the gym, actually. And we would always want to go and do, I think Scotia used to have their 5K. That was the biggest 5K at the time. And we decided we're going to do it. And so that is really how I started. We started doing a little bit of running here and there. I had actually attempted one before some years prior. But seriously, we said, okay, we're going to do this. And so, like most novices, we went out 2 days before to train for the race. and you know, that's how we got into it. And I don't know, something about that one of those races made me inspired to want to continue. On top of that, her husband Glenn, who I mentioned, was in the club, and we started going around the club by the Savannah. And I have to be honest, what kind of made me stay was actually the atmosphere and the environment of the person created by the persons who were in the club. That is what made me keep coming back. At the time, the running was secondary, but I just loved that atmosphere. And then I started running and really enjoying it. I don't know, maybe it's those endorphins that people talk about that you get after, but that is what kept me, made me want to continue. And then added to that, the weight was melting off. Reasons, the environment of the club, you know, that feeling that I got when I finished running, and the weight management aspect of it.
And look at it, almost 20 years later, you're not the president.
Yes, at the time. Yes.
How is that as the president of the Trinidad and Tobago Roadrunners Club? Because how old is the club?
The club is at present 39 years old, which I am very proud of. I suspect it's the oldest club of its kind in the Caribbean. We are not a track-based club. We are middle and long distance on the road. So I stand corrected on that fact. But I think we are one of the oldest in the Caribbean. And I didn't start off as president. I've always been somebody who was into volunteerism on committees and so on. So whether it was at home in the management committee at home, or you know, any kind of little groups, it's something I've always liked, volunteering for those kinds of opportunities. And I started off as one of just the members of the committee, because our club is run by a committee. It's not owned by any one person. And so during the years, I was different positions on that committee. And, you know, one year, I think we were struggling for persons to step up, because, you know, a lot of people don't like that responsibility. You know, how I will do, I will get judged. I'll have to set aside time to do it. And I agreed under a little duress. I was a little nervous about it, but I said, okay, I will take up the responsibility. And it's been a few years, well, as the president. It has its ups and downs, but generally I enjoy doing it.
Yeah. Trinidad and Tobago Roadrunners Club is 39 years. What would you say has been its contribution to our society?
Well, I think one of the main things is that our brand, I think, is recognizable, at least in the running community. And I think we have contributed tremendously to keeping persons interested in running. And by that, I would say we have two sides of the club. We had a race management side, which is more of a kind of business side, you would call it. And then we have the side where we just concentrate on running and social activities. And through the years, this was started by persons in the past, like Anthony Apoy and, you know, some other members, Anthony Saloom, Francis William Smith, George Caruth. They conceptualize, you know, actually helping other races, other organizations host 5Ks, doing the whole event management and the race management. And they were one of the first, I think the first, to actually get into that industry, where they would, you know, get the bibs, organize the events, provide guidance to the results, you know, helping with 5Ks. And I think that is one of the major contributions that the club has made over the years. And I mean, it has been mushrooming now, especially post-COVID. And then there are other companies actually coming in and doing similar activities. And I think that has really been one of the major contributions to the running community and the environment and the nation as such, because we get people continuing to exercise and to enjoy running.
Yeah. So what you've said is that road runners initially helped with the structure of races.
Yes.
Managing races. And
Yeah.
now that has transitioned into a business for some people.
Yes.
But
Yes.
Road Runners continues to be a voluntary organization, so it's not a business as such.
It's not a no. Yeah, and I mean, we don't get paid personally for doing it, so that everything we do goes into the club to help us to continue that. And we have taken a little bit of a step back recently, especially with all the other businesses coming up and advancing. And I think because our aim has never been money making, so we may get a little bit of money out of it, which we put back into the club and to the members, but it has always been, and one of the reasons for the creation of the club in our constitution is really to promote road running in the country. And if we can do that in any way, which is the sort of like the business side, and with also putting our members out there to participate, well, that's what we do. So, it's more about enjoyment and encouragement of other persons.
The Trinidad and Tobago Marathon, is that an activity that Road Runners has participated in?
Absolutely. That was one of my first foray, my real foray into the club. My introduction was doing a marathon in 2005, I think was the first time. And I think we always had one of the largest teams in the Trinidad and Tobago Marathon. We would have probably about 30 members participating for many, many years, and all the way up until the local marathon sort of changed. It's a different iteration of it now, but it's still there, and we still have members participating. We still have a lot of members participating, and we always still encourage persons to participate. I know that, recently there has been a little bit of grumbling about the marathon and, can it survive? Why is it not the same persons having issues? And some people even wanting to boycott, but we have never encouraged that. I always encourage people, doing a marathon is a personal decision, it's a personal sacrifice, and it's something that is a really major achievement for a lot of people. So I always say, if that is your goal, do it, and we will support. And even when some of us are not running, we are out there supporting, providing drinks, transportation, just encouragement. But we always support the Trinidad and Tobago Marathon in whatever version it is. If our expertise or opinion is required in terms of how to improve it, we will do that. But we support most local sporting activities.
How many marathons have you done?
Pardon me?
How many marathons have you done?
Me, I have done 14 full marathons. Not 5K marathons, people. Full 26.2 marathons, both locally and abroad.
Yeah, lovely. Congratulations on that.
Thank
14 full marathons is a tremendous achievement.
Yes.
And I certainly hope that you will continue, because this country needs to see that people can do things, we can achieve things.
Yes.
So people like you, if you continue doing the marathon, you would make a difference and you would send a message.
Yes, and to let people know, I am a regular person. I go to work every day. I do chores at home, take care of the noisy dogs, have to go to the grocery, but you also have to find time. And that is one of the biggest things that some people don't want to dedicate when it comes to a marathon. It seems daunting. You don't have to be an athlete. You don't have to have an athletic body even to do it. You don't have to be fast. You just have to set your mind to wanting to achieve that goal. And I think, running is one of the, running a marathon, I should say, is one of the best feelings that you can have when you completed it. Denise, you could probably attest to that as well, because you have been right there with us, doing those marathons. We know the struggles of the training, and it's a nice achievement for anybody and a good way to stay fit.
It is. It is a good way to stay fit and healthy, and it is a personal accomplishment that you don't need anybody to tell you congratulations.
Yes.
Once you hit the finishing line of a marathon, when I do it, I don't care about anybody. You could say what you like about me. I've done it, so it's 39 years. How are you celebrating your 39th anniversary or 39 year of contributing to this country?
Well, we don't really have a 39th anniversary celebration. And what we are doing this year is we are relaunching our road race, which we call Tempo in C. It's usually held at Shagaramas, and we're going back there this year. So we wanted to, and now I know many years ago, before my time, I've always heard that, TNT Roadrunners would have a relay series and so on around the savannah. So we always had a presence in the road running industry in terms of having its own race. But a few years ago, we decided, let's make it a little unique. We do 5 miles, because that is not a distance that you ever hear of. You hear 5K, 10K, mostly 5Ks around. And we said, let's do 5 miles. So it's in between for the persons who want a little bit of a challenge, but those who don't want the pressure of having to go 6 miles or more. And so that is what we did. We had it in Shagaramas, and it was successful. So we decided that next year will be our 40th anniversary, which I think is a major achievement. So leading up to that, we will do a series of activities, one of which was to reintroduce our Tempo in series, which went on hiatus just before COVID. So we were planning actually to have it in 2020 and canceled it just before the lockdown occurred. And since then, we haven't had it, and there have been a lot of races coming up. So we decided, you know what, let us re-enter the seed. And so the race is coming up on Sunday, September 8th. And that is one of the ways that we decided to, start our celebrations. Next year, our intention is to have a bigger celebration with different activities throughout the year to celebrate 40 years.
Okay, so Tempo in C. That's a strange name for me. What is that?
It is very strange. And I have to admit, I was not a fan of the name because I didn't create the name. It was created by Anthony Stroud, who was a member of the club. I asked different people, what does this C mean? What is this Tempo in C? And the answer I got is the C stands for Shagaramas. So I don't know if we're going to always have to be in Shagaramas, or we're going to have to change it to Tempo in T if we move to town, or Tempo in P if we move to Port of Spain. But it's just about celebrating the area where we're going to be, the big C, Shagaramas, and well, Tempo. I guess you could imagine what that means. It might be a fierce fight for some people. It might be pace, as we call it, but for others, it will just be an enjoyable environment and atmosphere.
Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about the Shagaramas atmosphere for running.
So it is quite popular for persons, not only from the Western Peninsula, but people come from as far as east to run in Shagaramas because, number one, we now have the strip that is dedicated to persons who are running and cycling. So it's a little bit safer. You're not running necessarily in the road. It's an area that is cordoned off for runners, like a running path. The air is so cool and crisp, especially in the morning, because of the amount of greenery that there is in Shagaramas. So that is another benefit. Yes, you have cars passing, but not as much as if you were running in Port of Spain around the savannah. So you have the running strip, you have that crisp, clean air, and then aesthetically, it is beautiful because of that greenery. You have greenery on both sides of the road with long running paths. You hear animals. You might see animals sometimes as well. There are waterways, there are trails. There's a lot of nature that is very attractive to someone who just wants to run in a really nice, peaceful, and clean environment.
Lovely.
And let me say clean too. The roadways are clean. So, you're not necessarily running by piles of rubbish or, debris and that sort of thing. So it's really a nice, clean atmosphere. It will be cool, and it's something that everyone should experience. And when you finish, You can go and take a dip because there's also Macquarie Beach there. There's the Chaguaramas Boardwalk. So it offers you a lot. And then there are places to eat. It's a all-in-one atmosphere and environment that you would enjoy.
Lovely. So tell us, your road race this weekend on the 8th. Can people register for it?
Unfortunately, it has reached its maximum. So we have sold out. We started small this year and we have reached the maximum. And I have to say thank you to all those who have supported. We have had a lot of support from other running clubs, you know, WDA, One a Week, Sweaters, One More Mile. You know, many other popular running clubs have supported this race and we are thankful for that. So registration has closed, unfortunately. But you know, you can still come down and support if you want to cheer on your fellow runners, you know, just be in the atmosphere and around. You can do that, but we have no more space available. Now, if spaces do pop up, because some people sometimes may cancel and want to sell their bib, you can always contact us and we will see how best we could help do that. But for now, it is closed.
And that is absolutely brilliant. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Having come back into the scene, you all have sold out the race. That is absolutely wonderful.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about where the race will start and what the path it will take.
Okay, so the race, well, our base for the race is Pier 2 Chaguaramas. So for anybody who doesn't know, it's between Pier 1 and Five Islands Water Park along the Western Main Road, I believe that is, in Chaguaramas. But so that is where the race will finish. That's where all the activities will occur at the end of the race. The race actually starts on Tucker Valley Road, or as we call it, Macquarie Road, probably about a mile in to the road, because in order to get the 5 mile distance and also to benefit from some of the lovely scenery at the golf course, we had to push it forward a bit. So it's an out and back race. So it will start there, run into Belleron Road, or Golf Course Road as we call it locally, just turn around and come back and finish at Pier 2 in Chaguaramas. So it is, especially the Golf Course Road will be closed. The CDA has agreed to help us with the traffic management, so it should be safe. There will be mile markers, there will be water, Gatorade. You might even get some doubles at the end. You know, so it is it's a great event. So the course will be, I think, partially closed, but the parts that are not closed will be manned by it will be coned off, and the Chaguaramas Development Authority will be assisting us to keep runners safe on the road.
That's it sounds so lovely, and I'm surprised that it didn't go down to Macquarie, to the beach. So it just goes around the golf course.
Maybe next time. Next time we will try that route.
Yeah. But I mean, Chaguaramas is absolutely lovely.
Yeah.
So as you come to this big race under your presidency, what do you think? Congratulations. And what are your thoughts for the future of Roadrunners Club and road running in Trinidad and Tobago? What can we do?
I would like to see N3As get more involved in road running. Maybe that is one of the ways to help boost it a bit. And it doesn't necessarily have to be financial, although that would help. But, you know, maybe they can host some races as well, because there's a lot of emphasis on track events. And, you know, and I know we have a history there, and a quite good, positive, successful history. But I would like to see them also give a little bit more attention to road running, you know, make it maybe almost as popular as the track events. And that's what I would like to see nationally. I would like to see more facilities for persons who run, because a lot of persons, you know, we run in parks like Eddie Hart, we run in the Savannah, we run down Chaguaramas, but simple things like a bathroom. Now, I know there's bathrooms at the Savannah and the Queen's Park Savannah and the Botanical Gardens. But, you know, in other areas, sometimes you're running and the bathrooms are closed and not available. And so I would like to see those types of infrastructure put in place to assist persons. And it wouldn't only be for runners, it would be for anybody who is out there participating in sport. You know, those kinds of initiatives that are dedicated to sports that you may see in other jurisdictions. Those types of initiatives I'd like to see. In terms of the club, I would just like us to continue going from strength to strength. We have survived 40 years. And one of the reasons I think that is because of how the club is set up in terms of not having an owner, but more of a constitution that is governed by a committee. And so if the owner gets vexed and decides to leave, the club wouldn't fall apart. You know, we are very diverse in terms of our socio-economic background, education-wise, and I think that helps us stick together. And, you know, I'd like us to, you know, maybe produce more runners who can compete nationally. You know, right now we have Nicholas Romani, who is the top local runner here, and he's been doing excellent. He started running under the guidance of Larry Lazama, and Larry is one of our probably most senior member. Yes, I see your face light up when you mention Larry. We know why. Yes, very popular member on the circuit, running circuit, and in the club. And so that's how Nicholas started, but eventually branched off training now with Jason Paris, and he's been doing excellent. And he's been afforded the opportunity, or I should say earned the opportunity, to represent Trinidad and Tobago in regionally in road races. And so maybe we can probably have, maybe on the female side, one or two of those other runners. But if that doesn't happen, we are quite happy contributing locally and, you know, continuing to be a presence on the savannah and now nationwide wherever there are races.
Thank you ever so much, Deborah. And as I say goodbye to you, what would you like to say?
Well, I just like to say, well, thank you for having me, Denise. It was a pleasure to share this information about the club, our history, and, you know, where we hope to go. And I just want to encourage people to get out there and continue to try and exercise and be fit. You know, we always hear about our ranking nationally in terms of non-communicable diseases and that sort of thing. And being fit, whether it's exercising, swimming, as I see Mr. Roberts there, and, you know, reminds me of that. And, you know, any other sport that you can do, take it up, no matter how old you are. You know, it helps keep the body and mind in check. And I could speak about the body now because I'm getting down there where I can envision being in pain and the knees hurting and all those kind of things. But you could imagine if I wasn't fit, it might have been 10 times worse. So, you know, just encourage people to continue being active. And, you know, if you're looking for a running club where we like to train, but we also like to lime too. So we will take a drink when the time is right. So we have that kind of fun atmosphere and everybody is welcome. So if you're looking for that, come and join us. We meet by the Savannah opposite QRC, the bench closest to the roundabout at Marva Road. You can always find us there. Come and say hello and, you know, jump in for a run whenever you want. And we'll see everybody on Sunday in Chaguaramas for our 5-mile road race.
Thank you ever so much, Deborah. See you another time.
Yes, thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Deborah. And I welcome Anil Roberts to our program on Power Conversations. Anil, it is so good to have you here. Tell me something. What about you that people don't know?
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be on. I'm not sure, but sports-wise, I would say I got into sport because my parents were not athletes and they could not swim. And they had 3 boys. They were lawyers working hard, and they realized my mother came across the globe from Malaysia, met my father at university studying law, got married, and did not go back east. She came west to Trinidad and Tobago, and she could not swim. She came around this twin island republic. Everywhere is water, river, sea, down the islands, beach. And she was panicked that her 3 boys would not be safe. So she put us into swimming. And we lived in Maracas Valley, St. Joseph, 59 Valley View Drive. And there was a lady there called Miss Lachlan who was doing Learn to Swim. I was 4 years old. My older brother was 5. And my younger brother didn't start for a year after, Shastri, who turned out to be the best out of all of us by far. But when we went there, we started to learn to swim. And somehow, some way, we had talent. Now, where that came from, we're not too sure. Even though my father has Tobago roots, so I feel it might have come from my grandfather or my grandmother or somewhere. And so we continued in swimming. We joined Torpedo Swim Club up there in the east, and then into Abbey Accolades and Lasses, and then becoming national champions and seeing the Marlin Swim Club from Westmoreland was ruling the roost. And my father is one of those that if you're showing talent, he wants to get the best opportunities for you. So we eventually moved down to the west. He bought a house in 1980 in Newberry Hill, becoming the first family of color to buy a house down there. There was a story behind that. Some of the neighbors tried to offer the man, Mr. Dayson, an extra set of money not to sell when they found out it was my father. That's a different topic for a different time. But we moved down to Marlins. I won my first national championship as an 8 and under back in 1977. And before that, swimming was not a sport that many people of different hues were involved in. The great champions before that were Jeffrey Ferreira. The sport was mostly an affluent kind of sport. You had to be a member of the country club, or you had to live in Westmoreland or Goodwood Park and so on. So we became sort of the first family of color to dominate. I started to dominate swimming 8 and under into 10 and under in 1979, making my first national team. So that's where the love and passion came from. But also, I must say, I went to one of the best primary schools in the history of the Caribbean, the UWI Primary School, which the principal was a lady, the most brilliant, genius, courteous, intelligent, amazing woman called Undine Giuseppe. And she was not only a stickler for education, for the arts, she believed in extracurricular, in the combination and balance in education of sport. So at UWI Primary School under Miss Undine Giuseppe and also Professor Kenny's wife, Mrs. Gillian Kenny, and Miss Joseph, UWI Primary School not only prepared you for common entrance, but there was sport in every aspect. We play rounders, baseball, football, cricket. I remember when we had PE classes, when we see dark clouds coming over the northern range, we would literally cry because we look forward to going to play football with Mr. Wong. I played my first football match at 8 years old on Nestle ground. And all I can remember is somehow as a skinny, small fella, it's hard to believe I was very skinny, I had six-pack and thing back then, and a full afro, which was a bit tinged bronze from the chlorine. But I made my first tackle there against some big fellas because, in primary school, and up to today, it's a problem. We have children who are 13 and 14 playing primary school football, which is not very good. The national champions in the Atlantic Primary School, it's an under 14 tournament. I took O-levels and got 7 1s and a 2 and an 8 at 15 years old in Fatima College. So I don't understand why we have children 13 and 14 in primary school. That's a different topic. So the idea of yes, but that's where the sport and the love for the sport came from. Now, over the years, while I was swimming, I would notice and see things that maybe I didn't have as much natural talent as some of the Puerto Ricans, the Cubans, the Venezuelans, the Costa Ricans that we were coming up against. And I would have to figure out ways with my coaches, Jappy Cheaping, Choco Aloy, and so on from Marlins, how to win, how to strategize, what to do, how to get fitter, how to make up for the deficit of natural given genetic ability, like some of the athletes that have been privileged to coach. I didn't get to coach my younger brother. Now, if I had, I think he would have brought an Olympic medal because he was incredible. He had those flexible ankles. His cardiovascular system was incredible. His ability to kick and generate a nice high body position in the water was amazing. I was not blessed with those flexible ankles, so I used to try to win more with my shoulders and upper body while doing a 2-beat crossover kick, which is different. Now you see all these swimmers, you see like an engine behind them. That's called a 6-beat kick. It takes a lot of effort, but it also means your ankles have to be very flexible to generate and to create that swirl in the vortices of the water, to lift your body up like a power boat. But what happened is, because I lacked the genetic ability, I had to use my brain and listen and talk to my coaches and so on. So I ended up being a much better coach than I was an athlete. The passion for the sport was further inculcated by my father, who, once he's doing something, he wanted to be the best at it. He's a solicitor, he was the best. He could give a speech, even now at 83, he could give you a speech without a piece of paper and remember dates, times, events off the top of his head and use words. His vocabulary is still more expansive than mine ever will be. You know, you will give you words in normal conversation, debates in the porch, indubitably, and go on. And you have to go and check up. If you can't argue, if you can't debate in the porch, if you can't understand sport, then you could not sit there. He became the president of the Swimming Federation, Swimming Association back in the early 80s. And now that you see swimming, when you look at swimming now, take a look, all of you all after this interview, go and see the national champions, go and see the pictures of the Carifta team, the Goodwill team. You will see a true representation of Trinidad and Tobago. Every race, every creed, girls, boys, mixed up, everything. I can proudly say that was due to my father back in 1981 to 85, when he brought about the advent of the primary schools competition, the secondary schools competition, including all government schools opening up sport across the board. So it became, swimming became a national sport rather than a sport just for some select few. So from primary school into Fatima College, the greatest college, my father will disagree, he went QRC, but the greatest college on the Twin Island Republic. I went in there. Yes.
You've moved from the greatest primary school to the greatest secondary
Yeah.
school. Tell me
Correct.
something. What are you proud of as a coach?
Well, let me put it this way, many things, but it may strike you as weird. But the proudest moment in my coaching career, nobody will know about it. It's when a girl came to the club, because people may know about the George Bovels, the Leah Martindale, who became the first black woman to ever make an Olympic swimming final in history of the planet in 1996, coming fifth in the 50-meter free. There was a girl, an African girl from the Netherlands, who in 1972 made a final in the relay. But Leah Martindale of Barbados, who came to live in my mother's house in Newbury Hill and went to St. Joseph Convent and trained right here on our soil in Queen's Park Hotel, which is now TGI Friday. When she made that final in 1996, it was the first time a black woman stood up in an Olympic swimming final. She finished fifth. In fact, a young girl who was 4 years old, her family was watching that Atlanta Olympics, and they realized in the USA that black people could swim, that we could take part. And she got into swimming, and in 2016, became the first black woman to ever win a gold medal in the 100 meters freestyle. So that is a very proud moment. You have to understand, the scientists in the USA, in the Congress and so on, back in the 60s and 70s, was saying that black people couldn't swim. That way our body, our musculature, our bone structure was too dense and we would sink and so on. Anthony Nesty obliterated that myth in 1988, winning gold for Suriname, and he has Trinidad heritage, Trinidad and Tobago heritage, by the way. So we debunked that. But my proudest moment, there was a young lady, had no skill whatsoever, Denise, when I tell you, no athletic ability, very bright girl, but she was willing to listen to everything I said. It was the daughter of former Minister of Health, John Eckstein. Her name was Chantal Eckstein. She had no skill. None whatsoever. No feel for the water, no coordination, no fast twitch fibers, no cardiovascular system. You would look at this child as a coach and say, well, boy, you're wasting time. Best she go and play chess or Scrabble, draft, study hard, get 20 ones. But she was, the look in her eye from day one, just every word I would say, she would try her best. So I then design and focus on her to see what we could do. And to cut a long story short, she eventually won a national title in the short course national championships in a 100-meter butterfly. And that, I still get goosebumps thinking about that. Seeing that child, that when you saw them first and foremost, you knew everything that she shouldn't be in this sport. And for her to win a Trinidad and Tobago national title in a 100-meter butterfly in the 11 to 12 age group, I think it's the 11 to 12 or 13 or 14 age group, was incredible and stands as one of my proudest moments, because people might say, boy, everything is about Olympics and gold medals and so on. That is the dream. That's what you want. But when you have a George Bovell, anywhere he go, God produced that to swim. I first met George Bovell parents in 1993, where you see that race is going to start on Sunday, and something called Pier 1 was being opened. And I told Barbara and George back then, I said, because I just started coaching and I had Sangeeta Puri, who was just making waves. Now from the club Piranha Aquatics was coming up. And I told them, I said, listen, Barbara, George, that little boy you all have there called George, he is an Olympic champion. They laugh at me. They need one to laugh. They say, Anil, but the boy can't even win a local race. He come in 4th and 5th, because back then we had swimmers like Kemi George, son of NIDCO chairman Herbert George right now. Him and his sister, but he was winning all the 10 and under races. George Bovell was coming 4th and 5th. I said, forget about what he's coming now. The body position, the body type, the muscular skeletal that I'm seeing with him, the low body fat, the way he floats in the water, his body position, that is all world class. The feel for the water, it's when you see someone swimming and they look effortless, that's what we call the feel for the water. Some people have it, some people don't. You can't teach it, but if you have it, it's an incredible advantage. Well, George Bovell didn't take me on for 8 years. He spent his money and went all over the world. Went to Bowles High School in Jacksonville, where you used to pay like $12,000 to $15,000 US per semester. He came down to the Carifta Championships in 2001 in Bahamas, when they had now completed that spanking new 50-meter facility. And a Bajan boy called Damian Allen held on to George Bovell and beat him in a 200 freestyle. When I tell you on the 3rd length, 200 freestyle is 4 laps. This Bajan boy kick and move away from George. The whole place went wild and they couldn't believe and so on. And I sat down there I can't take licks, so I was upset, sitting down quiet while everybody's celebrating. And George Bovell's father was sitting down next to me. And Denise, I can't lie to tell you, I hit him some of the best French in my life. Very strong French, because I was embarrassed and hurt. And I told him in a nutshell that this boy should never beat your son. You're embarrassing your son, because you're going all over the world in search of what you have sitting on right next to you. So I told him, bring him home. And we had World Championships 3 months later in Fukuoka, Japan. I brought him, George listened and brought him home. I coached him for 3 months. We went to Fukuoka, Japan. And in the heat of the 200 freestyle, he went out in a 55 seconds and came back the second 100 in 55 seconds and made the semifinal in the 200 freestyle. Beat the same Barbadian boy, Damian Allen, by 3 seconds, 3.85 seconds. Then went on in the 200 IM after the heats to move from 44th in the world to #1 in the world. When we went to the warm-down pool, Denise, all of these Japanese cameras, about 40 or 50, George is swimming down to recover, because you have the semi-final in the evening, then the next day you'll have the final. So we're there trying to get the lactic acid out of the muscles, recover, lower the heart rate and so on. And these Japanese cameramen, they're just harassing me. TRI. Now we are TTO, but back in 2001, we were TRI. And they say, what is TRI? TRI, I don't know. I say Trinidad and Tobago, Caribbean, southernmost, close to South America. I say steel pan, limbo. They don't understand. I say oil and gas, TRI, Trinidad. They're watching me like, what are you talking about? Eventually I said, Atto Boldon. And all of them are all 40, 50 of them, the eyes light up and they, Trinidad, Tobago, Atto Boldon, son, that's the power of sport. They knew our country because Atto Boldon had won 2 bronze medals in 96, a gold medal in the 97 World Championship in the 200 and a silver and bronze.
And in Europe, if you say Brian Lara, Europe and India, if you say Brian Lara, they know Trinidad and Tobago. So it is another example of how sports can help with our communication and help with us. But Anil, we only have about 10 more minutes. You are so passionate. You are so passionate about swimming. My question to you is, what could we do to improve our performance at the 2028 Olympics?
Okay, good question. 10 minutes, let me go. First and foremost, not only in swimming, but across the board. We have to respect sport. You see what you just said in a nutshell? That the whole world knows us because of Brian Lara. That's the power of sport. So we have to start understanding the beauty that sport represents us, that markets, there's no value. Sport is priceless. So when people start saying, you're investing in sport, you're putting this money, it's a waste of money. It's not. You can get no better marketing or exposition of your culture, your heritage, your history, your ancestry than sport. That's why all of the great countries in the world, the second most important program is sporting program for those who are in socialist countries. When you see Cuba and Castro took over, he went on 2 basic items. One was healthcare for his people and medical incentive and innovation. And sport. Castro hosted the 1982 CAC Games, but he had already put in place a grassroots program of coaches, science, understanding, education. He trained and coached his coaches just like they were doctors. So it wasn't just about you did this sport, so let's coach and just go through. There is a science in coaching that we in Trinidad and Tobago have not accepted. We must embrace it. You cannot just say you're a coach because you kick a ball or because you ran a 100 or you ran a marathon. You have to understand children of different ages. You have to understand talent identification, what makes an athlete good. Many parents come up to me and say, Anil, my child is doing so good in gymnastics and 4 or 5 years old. And when I look at the father is like 6'3" and the mother is 5'10". There's no gymnast above 4 foot tall. So already they don't even understand that they're in the wrong sport. Now, gymnastics might be good and form the basis for success in any other sport, whether it be basketball, football, volleyball, whatever. But you're not going to have a girl gymnast who's 5'7" or 5'8". It's impossible because the amount of rotations and twists that you have to do, it's for a shorter athlete, okay? So we have to have people in the primary schools and in the communities across Trinidad and Tobago who can identify talent. We have sports development officers in the Ministry of Sport. They've all been fired. We need to replace them, get more, get them back inside, get them in every primary school. And then you have to teach them what are the general things you're looking for in different sports to create the beginning of pathways. So you look at the parents, you look at the fast twitch fibers, you test them to see their cardiovascular fitness. Will they be a sprinter? Will they go into marathon running? We also need to understand, while I love you all with your marathon running and so on, we culturally are at a disadvantage compared with the rest of the world. Kenya, Ethiopia, Japan, Mexico. Their history has been a hard history, a history of hard work, discipline, the kind of torture that you have to take to run a marathon in 2 hours and 2 minutes. We are carnival, we are soca, we are culture, we are public holiday. We are, oh Lord, stress, let me take a little rum and soda and cool we are go and dress up nice, look good, listen to Steel Pan. So you will have to change the culture. If you want to see success in certain events that require that sort of pain, when you see the boxers, yes, we have had 1 or 2 boxers, Claude Noel, Leslie Tiger Stewart, and so on, Giselle Salandi. But to get the sort of fight, the hunger of boxers from countries that are impoverished, and they know that they fight for everything from the time they're in the womb, they fight for survival to come out. It's different. So we have to realize where our talent lies. Our talent lies in creativity, brilliance, fast twitch fibers, coordination. On the football field, we have to look for athletes that are amazing, but then we have to understand that when you are a creative artist on the football field, you cannot treat that artist like a normal soldier. They are built differently. So coaches have to understand every individual is different. How I talk to you, I make you, if I coaching you and I buff you, you might get vexed and you done. You go on home because you don't like loud talking and shout and so on. If I have another athlete, I may be able to buff them and encourage them, and they will bring out their performance. Coaches have to understand we have to plan physiologically and psychologically after we identify talent. Coaches must keep educating ourselves. In Trinidad and Tobago, we have the most experts who have achieved nothing. It's the greatest thing. I'm the best. I said, but boss, what you do? You're a basketball coach. How many children you got into high school, college, All-American, McDonald's All-American, university, which division? Oh, none yet, but boy, if I had a chance. I said, but you had a chance. Look, we need to understand merit-based.
2028, if you could be in charge, what would you focus on?
2028 is a bit short, to tell you the truth, because we are in a very big hole. And I'm seeing some young female athletes on the track that are looking good, and they're outside on programs that, God willing, they stay healthy, we could get something. But really and truly, we have to think about 2036. Get down in the primary schools, educate coaches, get the teachers, find teachers who have an interest. You might like road running, but that means you have a love for sport. Educate them, tell them what to look for, how to find children who playing rounders or hopscotch. Look how that child jumping from one block to the next. That could be springy, that could be volleyball, that could be sprinting 100. Get people's eyes, adults' eyes, to find the talent, funnel it, invest in it, and then hopefully down the line, once we create a culture and a passion and a love and support, we as people, let's go and support. Look, Tobago, we playing football. All you go over Tobago on the boat and go and pack the Dwight York Stadium, support early, support now. Yes, our football team is not good. It don't matter who coaching, we will get licks. But you have to support when you know you're going to get licks too, and eventually you will lift the level. I still supported Manchester United, and it's 12 years of torture, 12 years of pain. Yesterday was pain to see that licks we get from Liverpool.
So, Anil, you are saying that Trinidad is unlikely to perform well in the Olympics until 2036.
That's if we do something now. If we do nothing now, you're then going further out.
Okay, so Anil, give me one thing you would do if you had the opportunity to just transform one thing. What would you do?
I would put a qualified coach in every primary school across Trinidad and Tobago, pump money into primary school talent identification, sport curriculum, discipline, go in all the areas that are at risk, because that's where the real talent is. That's where the mindset is. Those children who come up hard, there's a benefit from coming up hard. You get mentally tough. You could do the work necessary to beat the world. When we come up kind of middle class and so on, we come up soft, and you can't take the pressure sometimes. And that's what we're seeing in some of our athletes right now. When they're on the world stage, they're a bit soft.
Anil, you are so right with that, because I grew up in East Dry River. So I grew up in poverty and in a real difficult area, and you had to learn to really survive. So Anil, as we bring this program to an end, what are your parting words?
Thank you for having me. And the sport discussion could go on for hours and hours, but we who love sport, We have to get away from getting involved in sport only to see about my own son or my cousin or my niece. If we in the Netball Association focus on the talent, sport is a brilliant thing. You don't have to like me. I don't have to like you. Whoever run the fastest win. Whoever is the best footballer, the most skillful, put them on the team. Stop the nepotism. Stop the childishness. Sport is brilliant. Let sport lead us. Don't try to change sport. Sport is pure. Sport is merit. Sport is discipline. Those who work the hardest and don't cheat. And in Trinidad and Tobago, we have to decide. I am zero tolerance for drug cheating and drug doping. In Trinidad and Tobago, we have people carrying our flag who have missed 3 tests and so on. We are inviting people here to teach our children who have served a 2-year ban for drug cheating. And we are confused. We don't know where we're going. We have to decide what we want, when we want it, how we want it, and implement it. Or else you and I will be here in 2028. Boy, we're going to another Olympic, no medal, and you can't do that. You have to plan.
Yes, you have to plan. And thank you very much, Anil. My learning from this is we have to have some kind of vision about what we want from sports. And we don't have a lot of time, but we have to invest in it from now in order to achieve that vision, even if it is in 2036. And between now and then,
Search up.
I think you said was the talk about looking at those high-risk areas and trying to get young people from there. So thank you very much, Anil. And this has been Power Conversation. Thank you very much and goodbye. See you on